Good morning, my dear friend. As the first light breaks across the horizon and the world takes its first gentle breath, you and I meet in this quiet, sacred hour, the kind of hour when the veil feels thinner, when silence carries more weight, and when the soul dares to whisper things it won't speak at any other time of day. The earth is still. The sky blushes with the promise of a new beginning. And here you are, standing in the doorway between yesterday's pain and today's hope. Maybe you woke up with a heaviness in your chest that words cannot explain. Maybe you did not sleep at all, tossing through the night, replaying regrets or reaching for someone who is no longer there. Perhaps you are carrying more than anyone knows, pressures that never seem to lift, fears that keep returning, or questions that echo louder than answers. It could be grief. It could be a failure you cannot undo. Or maybe it is the silent H of feeling invisible while the world keeps moving, as if your tears do not count. I once met someone who smiled through a normal day while quietly drowning inside. She showed up for everyone else, stayed strong on the outside, but broke down alone in her car when no one could see. She said to me, "I pray sometimes, but I do not know if God still listens. I do not feel anything anymore." Maybe you can relate. Maybe you have been in that car. Maybe you are there now. But my friend, this morning, this very breath is proof that something holy still pulses through your life. You are here. And if you are here, it means your story is not over. This sunrise is not just light returning to the sky, it is a whisper from heaven that you are not forgotten, not forsaken, not beyond reach. You see, every sacred journey begins in a moment just like this. Not when you feel strong, but when you admit you are tired of pretending. Not when you have answers, but when you come with honest need. There is power in that need. There is strength in surrender. And there is a God who leans close when we finally stop performing and start being real. This is not just another morning. This is an invitation, not from me, but from the one who created you. You are being called not to perfection, not to ritual, but into a sacred, ongoing conversation that is as personal as breath. Prayer is not a performance. It is the language of the soul when it finally speaks without fear. It is where walls fall and truth enters. It is where broken things begin to heal and dead things begin to stir again. I cannot promise you instant answers, but I can promise you this: when you pray, even if it is with trembling words, heaven leans in. Something begins to shift, not always outside, but always inside. And sometimes, that shift is the beginning of everything else changing. So wherever you are right now, in your kitchen, in your room, on your commute, or curled beneath your blanket with eyes still raw from tears, I invite you to pause. Not just with your body, but with your soul. Open your heart, not to me, but to the one who knows every corner of it. You do not need to fix yourself to be heard. You do not need to get it together to be welcomed. All you need is the willingness to begin. Together, let us walk into a sacred space, not with grand speeches, but with honest hearts. This is your moment to return to the one who has always seen you, the one who has never left, the one who, even now, is ready to speak back. Let us begin. Dear Heavenly Father, This morning I come to you with nothing polished, nothing impressive, and nothing rehearsed. I am here because I cannot carry this weight alone. The room is quiet, but my thoughts are not. My heart is loud. My fears have a voice of their own, whispering stories that steal peace before the day even begins. And yet, here I am, reaching for you in the stillness, because something in me believes you are near, even when I cannot feel it. I do not come with answers, only with questions I have been too afraid to ask. Why do things feel so heavy, even when I smile in front of others? Why does it seem like the more I try, the more I fail? Why does the night always seem longer when the pain grows deeper? And yet, Father, something in the silence reminds me that you are still here, that even the silence speaks of you. I do not have eloquent words, just a heart that is tired of pretending everything is fine, a soul that longs for rest, not the kind of rest that sleep offers, but the kind of rest that reaches into the inner corners of who I am and holds me together when I feel like falling apart. I am not here to impress you. I am not even sure how to talk to you right now, but I believe you know that already. There is a part of me that remembers the light, the kind that used to wake me up with hope. I remember seasons when I believed easily, when I sang without hesitation, when prayer felt like a river flowing naturally. But lately, the river feels more like a dry well. My faith is not gone, but it has grown quiet, like a flickering candle that refuses to die. Something small and stubborn remains. So I am leaning on that today. Father, I am not asking for fireworks or sudden miracles. I am just asking you to meet me here, right here in this quiet space where my soul aches to be seen. I need to know you still see me, that I am not invisible to heaven, that this ache is not too small to matter to you. I know I am supposed to trust. I know I am supposed to be strong. But some mornings I wake up and all I can feel is the weight of what has not changed. The unanswered prayers, the unfinished healing, the waiting, the wondering. And yet even in this waiting, something inside me reaches for you, not because I have great faith, but because I have no one else to run to. I do not want to live numb. I do not want to wake up every morning and fake my way through another day. I want more than survival. I want to breathe again, not just in my body, but in my spirit. I want to remember what it feels like to live wide awake, to feel your nearness in my chest, not just in my mind. Help me, Father, to find you again in the quiet, not in loud declarations or perfect prayers, but in the honest, trembling voice of someone who is trying. I am not asking to be perfect. I am just asking for enough light to take the next step, enough grace to not give up, enough peace to get through this hour without breaking. If I am honest, I feel like I have been walking through a long night, one of those nights that stretches across weeks and months, where joy is a memory and clarity is a stranger. But even in this night, I choose to believe that you are still writing my story. That darkness does not mean you have disappeared. That silence does not mean abandonment. You have always spoken in whispers, in burning bushes, in wind, in still. Small moments. So speak again. Father, even if it is only a single word, even if it is only felt and not heard, let me sense you drawing near. Let me know that you are not done with me. I bring you the parts of me I wish were different, the anxiety I cannot control, the doubt I cannot silence, the disappointment that lingers even after the tears stop. I bring it all to you, not because I know how to fix it, but because I trust that you are gentle with what is fragile. You do not bruise what is already breaking. You do not walk away from the weary. You sit beside them until strength returns. Remind me who I am to you, not who I feel like today, but who you have called me from the beginning. A child. A beloved. Not forgotten, not left behind. I do not need a stage or an audience to know I matter. I just need your whisper in this room, telling me I still belong. Let this morning be the beginning of something quiet and sacred. Let it be the day I stop waiting to feel worthy before coming to you. Let it be the day I remember that love does not wait for perfection, that grace does not ask for credentials, that mercy meets me as I am. I want to believe again. Father, not just in my mind, but in my bones. I want to believe that what you have spoken over my life is still true, that my mistakes have not canceled my calling, that my tears are not wasted, that my weakness is not a disqualification, but an invitation for your strength. I am not asking for every question to be answered. I am asking for peace while I wait, for comfort while I heal, for hope that holds me even when everything around me feels uncertain. And most of all, I am asking for you, not just your help, not just your blessings, but your presence, your nearness, your voice speaking into my shadows and calling me forward again. So here I am, in the quiet, waiting not just for answers, but for you. Speak into the silence. Sit with me in this space. Breathe into the places that feel hollow and afraid. I know you are near, even when I cannot feel it. And that is enough for me to begin again. God, I stayed still as long as I could, but now something inside me is breaking open. I tried to whisper. I tried to sit quietly and wait for peace to return, but peace has not come. The silence is no longer comforting. It presses in on me like a weight I cannot lift. I cannot hold this in anymore. I am crying out not with pretty words or polished thoughts, but with everything that is raw and aching and unfiltered inside me. You said you are near to the brokenhearted, so I am trusting that nearness now, even as my voice trembles. I do not want to be polite with my pain. I do not want to dress it up to make it easier to carry. I am laying it bare, Lord, because I believe you can handle the truth of it. I believe you do not turn away from the cries of your children. So here I am, crying out for help. Help me make sense of this heaviness that will not lift. Help me hold on when I want to give up. Help me find breath when anxiety tightens its grip. I know there is power in being honest with you, so I will not hide. If desperation is the only door I can knock on, then let my hands bleed from the pounding. Let my soul scream if it must. Just hear me. Just answer. I am not asking for ease. I am asking for rescue. Not the kind that takes me out of the storm, but the kind that teaches me to walk on the waves. I do not need the problem to disappear. I need you to show up in the middle of it. I need you to be the fourth figure in my fire, the one who reminds me I am not alone, the one who walks with me through it all. I know you are holy. I know you are sovereign, but I also know you are near. I do not cry to a distant God who watches from beyond the clouds. I cry to the one who once wept outside a tomb, who sweat blood in a garden, who knew loneliness so deep it echoed across eternity. You are not unfamiliar with pain. You are not removed from human sorrow, so take this cry, God, and hold it as something sacred, not as a weakness, but as worship. Let this outpouring be more than emotion. Let it be the sound of faith refusing to be silent. Let it be the sound of trust, bruised but unbroken. Let it be the sound of a heart that still believes you are listening, even when the answers do not come quickly. I am not asking for explanations. I am asking for presence. I am asking for the comfort of knowing I am heard. There are moments when I wonder if my voice gets lost in the noise of the world. So many prayers, so many people, so many needs. And yet, you hear mine. You know the exact shape of my voice. You know the sound of my cry in the night, the quiet sobs that never make it past my lips. You know my tears by name. You know which ones are from loss and which ones are from anger. You know the difference between surrender and despair, and you hold both without judgment. Father, if I could see what you see, maybe I would not feel so afraid. If I could glimpse the plan behind the pain, maybe I would stop fighting so hard to escape it. But I cannot see the whole picture. I only see the broken pieces. So I give them to you now, all of them, the sharp ones that cut my joy, the heavy ones that anchor me to yesterday, the scattered ones that no longer seem to belong anywhere. Take them and hold them in your hands. Let my cry rise to you like incense. Let it reach past doubt and disappointment. Let it be more than grief. Let it be worship in its purest form, a soul refusing to grow silent in the dark. I know this sound moves you. I know you draw near to it, so draw near now. Let your nearness break through this ash. Let it fill the space where answers are still waiting to be found. There is a cry that opens heaven, a cry that makes walls shake and chains fall. I do not cry because I am defeated. I cry because I believe this sound matters to you. I cry because something inside me knows that even in weakness, you are strong, that even in pain, you are good, and even now, you are working behind the scenes of what I cannot see. Help me not to hold back what needs to be said. Help me not to silence what longs to be expressed. I am not trying to be dramatic. I am just being honest. This world hurts. Life is heavy, but my faith will not be quiet. I am choosing to bring you everything, even when I do not understand it. You are not afraid of my questions. You are not ashamed of my sorrow. You meet me in it. You do not demand perfection before listening. You do not require me to be composed to be heard. You are drawn to broken things. You are moved by tears. And so, I let them fall not just from my eyes, but from my soul. Take this cry, Lord, and do what only you can do with it. Translate it into something holy, something healing, something that reminds me you are still God, and I am still yours, Remind me that pain is not a sign that you are far away, but often the place where you come closest. Remind me that my cry is not a sign of weakness, but a sign of trust, a sign that I still believe you are listening. Do not let this cry go unheard. Do not let it rise into the sky only to fall back empty. Let it pierce through the shadows. Let it carry weight in the spirit. Let it shake the things that need to be shaken. Let it stir heaven's response. Let it be the beginning of something new, something I cannot yet name, but something I know will carry me forward. You are the God who sees, the God who knows, the God who answers not always the way I expect, but always in love. I am holding on to that now. I am choosing to believe that even this cry is a seed being planted, that it will not return void, that something sacred is already beginning to grow. So I will keep crying, not because I have lost hope, but because I have not. And if my tears are the only prayer I can offer right now, then let them fall freely. Let them be enough. Let them carry my faith upward. Let them tell you the things I cannot say with words. Let them move your heart as I offer them in trust. Let them water the ground of my waiting until something new begins to bloom. Father, now that my cry has been poured out before you, and my soul has said what it could no longer keep inside, something unexpected is stirring. It is not relief. Not yet. But it is something real. A warmth. A flicker, not of answers, but of memory. A memory I did not ask for, yet one that rises like smoke from the ashes of my prayer, and I cannot ignore it. I remember when I used to believe more easily. I remember mornings when I woke up with purpose instead of dread, when your presence did not feel far, but familiar. I remember the way my heart would lift at the sound of worship, how I could feel you in the simplest moments in a song. A sunrise, a sentence spoken at the right time. There was a fire once, not dramatic or loud, but steady, gentle, alive. Where did it go, Lord? Or maybe the better question is, where did I go? Life happened. Disappointments, delays, doors that closed when I was sure they would open. And slowly, I stopped expecting you to move. I never stopped believing in you. I just stopped believing you would show up for me. I kept going. I smiled. I served. But the fire that used to burn behind my eyes turned to embers I learned to hide. But you see everything. You have always seen what I have tried to silence. You know how my heart still reaches for the flame, even when it does not believe it will be found. And in this moment, as I sit with the H and the echoes, you gently draw my attention to the past, not to trap me in it, but to remind me of who I was when I still danced in the light, and who I still am beneath the dust of disappointment. You bring to mind the days when I saw your fingerprints in everything, when I journaled every answered prayer, when I waited for you like rain in the dry season. I was younger then, maybe more naive, but I was also braver in ways I have forgotten. I believed you delighted in me. I believed you had plans for me. I believed you heard even my smallest sigh. I want that again, Lord. Not the innocence, but the intimacy. not the high moments, but the heart that leaned close. Remind me that the flame has not gone out. Remind me that what you once began in me was never discarded. You do not light a fire only to forget where it burns. You do not start something sacred just to walk away. If you began it, you are faithful to complete it, even if I have buried it beneath busy days and quiet disappointments. The spark is still there. You have not forgotten how you made me. You have not given up on the fire. Fan into flame what has been buried beneath fear. Stir again what once made me come alive. Show me how to remember without regret. Let the memories that come back not torment me with what is lost, but awaken me to what can still be found. I do not want nostalgia. I want restoration. I want to believe again, not because the past was perfect, but because you are still present. There were moments, Father, when I saw miracles, not the kind that made headlines, but the kind that changed everything in secret. I remember the night I prayed with trembling hands, and you answered in a way only you could. I remember the peace that came out of nowhere, when I should have been breaking. I remember the time you used someone to speak exactly what I needed to hear, even when I had told no one what I was going through. That was you, and if it was you then, it can be you now. I do not believe you have changed. I believe I have grown wary. I believe I let time and trials convince me that fire was for other people, other seasons, but not for now. And yet this memory, this warmth I feel even now tells me I was wrong. The fire never left. It just waited. Quiet, patient, faithful. So help me return, not to a place, but to a posture. Help me return to the part of me that still knows how to lean in, that still knows how to say yes, that still believes you want to be near. I do not need a mountain or a miracle. I just need to remember that you still walk with me, that you are the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow, that your promises do not expire with my emotions. Let me look back only long enough to see how far you have carried me. Let it fuel my faith, not my fear. I am not who I was, but I am not lost either. You know exactly where to find me, and maybe this remembering is not to shame me, but to awaken what has been sleeping. Maybe you are calling me back to the fire, not to punish me, but to warm me, not to expose me, but to restore me. There were songs I used to sing without hesitation, promises I declared without doubting, scriptures I clung to like breath itself. Bring them back to me now, not as rituals, but as reminders. Let them rise from the corners of my soul like a melody that was never truly forgotten. Let them speak louder than the lies I have picked up along the way. I know that memory is a sacred thing in your hands. You use it not to rewind the past, but to renew the present. So I give you mine, all of it, the bright days and the broken ones, the seasons of laughter and the nights of loss. Take it and make something holy. Let these memories become a garden again. Let them bloom in new ways. Let them grow something I can walk in today. This fire, Lord, this faint glow inside me, I offer it to you. Whatever is left, take it, breathe on it, multiply it. I do not want to walk through this life numb or distant or guarded. I want to burn again, not for applause, not for performance, but for the love that once made me leap without fear. Bring back wonder. Bring back the thrill of your presence. Bring back the tears that come not from sorrow, but from awe. I want to wake up with purpose again. I want to speak with faith again. I want to live like I believe you are who you say you are. Let the flame grow, not because I force it, but because I make room for it. I clear the clutter. I make space. I give you permission to rebuild what I let fade. This is my offering, not perfection, not certainty, just the willingness to remember, the willingness to believe that what once was does not have to remain buried, that what once burned can burn again, and maybe even brighter, maybe even stronger, maybe not the same, but something even more real. So as I sit here in this quiet moment, I will not rush away. I will not dismiss this holy stirring. I will let it linger. I will let it lead. And I will trust that what you started in me long ago is still alive, still sacred, still mine to carry. Father, as the memories continue to stir, as the warmth of what once was begins to take shape again in my soul, I realize there is something else I have almost forgotten. Not just the feelings or the songs or the moments, but something deeper, something more constant than emotion, more unshakable than circumstances. It is your name. The name that once carried weight in my spirit now returns like a long-lost melody I did not know I needed. Your name, God, not as a habit or a closing line to a prayer, but as a lifeline, as a strong tower, as the only name that ever truly made my soul feel steady. I used to speak it with confidence, declare it in the face of fear, whisper it in the dark, when I was too tired to say anything else. There was power in that name, and I knew it then. Somehow, I forgot. Somehow, I allowed life to dull the sharpness of that holy truth. But today, in this fragile and sacred moment, I remember that when I could not find the words, the name of Jesus was enough. When all I had was breath, I could say your name and something would shift, not always around me, but always within me. There is no name like yours, no presence like yours, no authority higher. And I have spent too many days trying to fight battles in my own strength, forgetting I was never meant to. There is still power in your name, Lord. Even now, as I say it again aloud, something in the atmosphere responds. Something inside me stands up straighter. The fear that crept in without permission loses its grip. The doubts that settled like dust begin to scatter. I am not speaking into the void. I am not tossing empty words into the wind. I am calling on the name that holds all things together. The name that silence must answer to. The name that darkness cannot remain in the presence of. Jesus. You are not just a figure in a book. You are not a symbol. You are not a distant force. You are real, alive, close. You walk with me even now. And your name is not passive. It is a sword, a shield, a banner over me. When I say it, I am not just repeating what I was taught. I am standing on the foundation of everything I believe. That you are who you say you are, that you are able, that you are near. There are places in my life, Father, that have grown too quiet, places I stopped praying over because I did not see change. But I speak your name there again. I speak it over the places that feel stuck, over the dreams that feel too broken to repair, over the relationships I thought had reached the end, over the wounds I have kept hidden even from myself. I speak your name over my mind, where thoughts spiral, over my heart, where hope has grown weary, over my home, my work, my every step. Your name is not a last resort. It is my beginning place, my anchor, my refuge, my authority, and I do not have to raise my voice for it to carry power. I do not have to earn the right to use it. You gave it to me, not as a weapon to harm, but as a gift to heal, as a covering, as a calling. And I will not treat it casually. I will not let it become background noise in a life you paid for. Teach me again how to rest in the strength of your name. Teach me how to carry it with reverence, not routine. Remind me that the same power that raised you from the grave is in me, not because of anything I have done, but because I belong to you. You gave me the right to call on you, not just in crisis, but in communion. And every time I do, heaven draws near. Let my spirit remember what my mind forgets, that when I say Jesus, chains fall. That when I say Jesus, peace returns. That when I say Jesus, my feet find ground again. There is no confusion in you, no weakness, no delay. And even if I do not see the outcome yet, I trust in the authority that comes with your name. I do not need a sign to know it works. I only need to believe. So I say it slowly now. Jesus. I say it not with performance, but with hunger. Jesus. I say it with the part of me that still believes you come close. Jesus. I say it into the silence, not to fill the void, but to invite you into it. Jesus. I say it over the places I have kept locked away, hoping no one would see the mess. Jesus. I say it in faith, in weakness, in hope. There is no other name under heaven that I trust like this. No other name that has held me through storms. No other name that found me in my wandering. No other name that knew how to rescue me from myself. And even now, as I whisper it again, I know I am not alone. I know you are here. You always have been. I just needed to remember how to call. Let this be the name I wake up with, the name I fall asleep under. Let it be the name written over every page of my story, the name I turn to in confusion and celebration. Let it be the name I teach my heart to return to every time I drift, because in a world full of noise, your name is still my clarity. In a world full of change, your name is still my constant. And if I ever forget again, if the days grow loud and my heart grows tired, pull me back to this moment, to this stillness, to this sacred place where your name meets my need. Let the power of that name never grow distant to me. Let it always stay close, like breath. Let it shape the way I speak, the way I think, the way I walk through this world. You have given me more than a title to repeat. You have given me a key that unlocks peace when fear tries to steal it, A key that opens doors no man can shut. A key that silences the enemy when I do not have the strength to fight. And I will not leave it unused. I will not stand at closed doors and forget that you've already given me access. Your name is enough. It always has been. It always will be. And as long as I carry it in my spirit, I will never be without hope. I will never be without authority. I will never be without a way forward. No matter what I face, I will not face it nameless. I will not face it powerless. I will not face it alone, because the name I carry is the name above every name. And in that name, I remember who I am, and I remember whose I am, Lord. Now that I have remembered the power of your name, now that I have spoken it over the broken places and watched something shift in the silence, I find myself leaning closer, not because everything is suddenly fixed or easy, but because something deep within me is awakening. It is not noise that stirs me, but nearness. Not answers, but the awareness that you are near. And in this nearness, I can feel something begin to breathe again inside me. It is not a roar or a thunderclap. It is not a spectacle. It is quieter than I expected, gentler than I thought it would be. And still, it carries more weight than 1,000 shouted commands. Your voice, God. That still, steady whisper that speaks not to my ears, but to my very soul. I thought I needed you to break through with force, but here you are, speaking in the fire without consuming me. Here you are, not in the storm or the earthquake, but in the hush that follows. I have chased many things, Lord. I have filled my life with sound, with motion, with striving. I have begged for signs and reached for noise to prove you were listening. But now, in this holy quiet, I realize you never left. I was just too loud to hear you, too busy to notice the way you settled beside me, waiting for me to fall silent. And now, in the stillness, I hear what I have been missing. You are not shouting over me. You are not scolding. You are not disappointed that I wandered or tired that I have come back again. You are whispering, and in that whisper is everything I need. Reassurance, comfort, truth, direction. I do not have to strain to hear you. I only have to still the other voices that have occupied my attention for too long. Your voice, Lord, is not like the others. It does not accuse or shame or demand. It reminds. It restores. It tells me who I am when the world has tried to redefine me. It calls me beloved when I have begun to believe I am forgotten. It pulls me close instead of pushing me away. It is not always what I want to hear, but it is always what I need to hear. And right now, I just need to know that you still speak. Speak to the places in me that have grown quiet from exhaustion. Speak to the wounds I have buried too deep for words. Speak to the dreams I have wrapped in doubt and hidden in the corners of my mind. Speak to my identity, my purpose, my calling. Remind me of the things I have tried to forget because they felt too heavy to carry. You have always spoken to your children in the fire, to Moses through the flames that did not consume, to Elijah in the still small voice that followed the chaos. And now, you speak to me in this fire not to burn me, but to refine me, not to frighten me, but to draw me in. I do not come afraid. I come in wonder, because the fire that could destroy is instead inviting me to listen. I want to hear you clearly, God. I want to tune out every false voice that has tried to take your place, the voice of fear that tells me I will fail, the voice of shame that says I am not enough, the voice of comparison that convinces me to keep striving for things that will never satisfy. Let them fall silent now, one by one, in the presence of the one who truly knows me. Your voice gives life, speaks galaxies into motion, and still pauses to speak to someone like me. That thought alone undoes me. You, the maker of all things, choose to whisper into my ordinary life. You see me as worth speaking to, not because I am worthy in myself, but because I am yours. And that belonging changes everything. Soften my heart where it has grown hard. Open my ears where they have been closed. Let your words sink deeper than feelings. Let them take root and bear fruit in the places where I have felt barren. I do not need a long speech from heaven. I need a word, just one word spoken with your authority. One word from you has the power to lift me from the pit, to send me in a new direction, to silence every storm. I do not want to rush past this moment. I do not want to speak so quickly that I forget to listen. I want to linger here, in the warmth of this fire, in the weight of your voice, in the simplicity of being known. I have nothing to prove and nothing to pretend, just a heart that longs to hear from its creator, and I trust that you are speaking. Even now, maybe I want to hear you like thunder. Maybe I want to see visions or feel shaking walls, but I will watch for the gentle tug. I will notice the peace that comes when I read a verse I have read 100 times before and suddenly see it in a new light. I will pay attention to the moment a phrase lingers in my mind like it was planted there by you. I will stay open to the quiet promptings, the small nudges, the holy interruptions. Teach me to recognize your tone, not just the content, but the kindness, the strength wrapped in mercy, the correction surrounded by love. Help me to know when it is you, and not just my own thoughts echoing back. Give me discernment to know when to pause, when to move, when to speak, and when to wait. Your voice is not noise, it is clarity. And if I feel like I cannot hear you yet, help me trust that you are still speaking. Help me believe that silence does not mean absence, that waiting is not punishment, that sometimes the fire is not to force me forward, but to remind me to sit, to stay, to listen. You are not rushed, and you do not rush me. You are not distant, and you do not demand performance. You only ask for presence. So here I am, Lord, fully present, not just with my body, but with my heart, with the questions, the awareness, the desire to go deeper. I am here for your voice, not for information, but for intimacy, not for instruction alone, but for connection. I want to walk with you, not ahead of you or behind you, side by side, step by step, breath by breath. Let this fire never burn out. Let it refine me, shape me, speak to me in ways I did not even know I needed. Let your whisper become the loudest sound in my life, not because you shout, but because I have chosen to listen. I know now that I do not need to scream to be heard. I only need to be still, because when I am still, you speak. And when you speak, everything begins to change. Father, now that I have quieted my heart enough to hear your voice in the fire, now that I have tasted the stillness where you whisper, something deeper is stirring. It is no longer just comfort or remembrance. It is awakening. It is the realization that I have been walking through life carrying weight that was never mine to bear. And now, in this light you have brought, I can see the chains I did not notice before. I see what I have allowed to wrap around me: thoughts, habits, fears, and I can feel them starting to rattle. I thought they were part of me. I thought this heaviness was just the cost of survival. I adapted to it, learned how to walk with it, even to function with it. But now, with your presence so near, I realize these chains were never meant to stay. I was not born to live restrained. I was not called to be limited by lies, or bound by guilt, or trapped in cycles I did not choose. You did not create me to live just barely making it through. There is something sacred about this moment, Lord. Something holy in the way you are showing me what has been holding me back. You are not doing it to shame me, but to set me free. I feel your light pressing against the dark corners I have avoided. I feel your truth reaching down into places I thought were sealed off for good. And now, the lies that used to sound like my own voice are being exposed for what they really are: prisons dressed as comfort. I see now how fear built bars around my heart, how disappointment locked doors I never tried to open again, how insecurity became a ceiling I never dared to push against. These are the chains that shaped my days, my choices, even my prayers. But they are beginning to shake, not because of my strength, but because of yours. Not because I have figured everything out, but because I have finally brought it all into the light. You are not a God who leaves his children in bondage. You are the God who breaks yokes, who opens prison doors, who walks into graves and calls the dead back to life. You do not decorate chains. You destroy them. And now I can feel the tension, the pull between what I have known and what you are inviting me into. It is terrifying and holy. It is unfamiliar and yet deeply right. Freedom is near, and it is louder than my excuses. No more agreeing with what was meant to keep me small. No more calling fear wisdom or labeling bondage as safety. You are calling me higher. You are inviting me into something that will require courage. But I know I will not walk it alone. If you have shown me these chains, then you intend to break them. And if you are breaking them, then I will not hold on to them for comfort. I will let go. Help me, Father, to recognize every lie I have mistaken for truth. Help me identify every mindset that has kept me bowed down when you have called me to stand. I do not want to wear shackles and call it humility. I do not want to live in survival mode and call it surrender. True surrender is not staying bound, it is letting you lead me out. I give you my fear of failure, the one that keeps from trying at all. I give you my fear of being seen, the one that hides behind fake strength and learned quietness. I give you my fear of rejection, the one that tells me to please everyone instead of pleasing you. I give you my fear of change, the one that convinces me comfort is safer than calling. Let every one of these fears be exposed for what they are: thieves of destiny, robbers of peace. And let your truth speak louder than their threats. You said, where your spirit is, there is liberty. So if your spirit is in me, then I am not a slave to fear. I am not a prisoner of my past. I am not a victim of circumstance. I am a child of freedom, called to walk in the light and leave behind everything that binds. And I know this battle is not just spiritual, it is also practical. So help me see the decisions that keep me tied to what you are trying to free me from. Show me the patterns I return to, the environments that chain my thoughts, the words I speak that reinforce what you are trying to dismantle. Let me not be casual with the things you died to release me from. Let me feel the weight of what freedom truly means, not just a release from, but a release into purpose, into healing, into boldness, into joy. Chains do not just fall to make me lighter. They fall to make room for more of you. And if I am carrying what you never meant for me to carry, then I have no room for the peace you promised, the joy you offer, the strength you want to give. So break them, Lord. Break every chain of anxiety that wraps around my thoughts when I try to rest. Break the chain of overthinking, the one that talks me out of faith every time you call me forward. Break the chain of shame, the one that replays mistakes as if they were my identity. Break the chain of perfectionism, the one that makes me believe I must earn love when you have already given it freely. I do not want to just feel better. I want to be free. I want to walk with head lifted, shoulders unburdened, heart open. I want to rise in the morning without dreading the day. I want to speak with confidence that comes not from arrogance, but from knowing I am yours. I want to move through life without apologizing for existing. You have called me out of hiding, and even if I tremble, I will answer. I believe something is happening in this very moment. Something in the atmosphere is shifting. Something in the spirit is breaking. The sound of chains rattling is not fear. It is the sound of freedom waking up. It is the sound of old things losing power. It is the sound of identity being reclaimed. It is the sound of my spirit rising to meet the voice that has always been calling me out. So I stand in this moment, not as a victim of my past, but as a vessel for your future. I do not need to be fearless. I only need to be willing. Willing to walk away from what has kept me bound. Willing to step forward even if my steps are shaky. Willing to believe that what you have spoken over my life matters more than what fear has whispered in the dark. Let the rattling become breaking. Let the breaking become walking. Let the walking become running. And let the running lead me straight into the life you have been preparing for me all along. I will not shrink back. I will not settle. I will not sleep in chains while freedom waits at the door. Not when you have come this close. Not when the fire of your presence has lit the path before me. You are not just my refuge. You are my rescuer. And where you are, chains cannot stay. So I lean into this moment of surrender, not to collapse, but to rise, not to quit, but to begin again. I welcome the shaking. I welcome the breaking, because I know what comes next is the sound of victory, the sound of freedom, the sound of a soul finally stepping into the space it was always meant to fill. Father, now that the chains have begun to break and the sound of freedom rings louder than fear, I find myself standing in unfamiliar space. There is no turning back to the prison I came from, but I have not yet learned how to walk fully in this new ground either. And so I ask you, right here in this in-between, to anchor me in something that cannot be moved. Let me stand on what is steady, unshakable, and eternal. Let me stand on your word. There is a kind of trembling that comes with freedom, not the trembling of fear, but the trembling of someone learning how to be whole, of someone taking their first steps after years of crawling. And right now, I need something under my feet that will not crack when I put my full weight on it. I need truth, not borrowed belief, not secondhand hope, but truth that comes from your mouth, not mine. Your word is not just ink on a page. It is breath. It is life. It is power wrapped in language. And I need it more than ever. I need it to silence the voices that still try to tell me I am not enough. I need it to remind me of who I am when memories try to pull me back into old patterns. I need it to be the mirror that shows me what you see, not what I fear. I have read your promises before, Lord. I have heard them recited. I have even spoken them aloud. But now I need to let them become the ground I stand on. Not inspiration, but foundation, not just comfort, but conviction. Let your word be the place where I plant my feet and refuse to be moved, no matter what I feel, because my feelings change. But your word does not. My circumstances shift like sand, but your truth stands firm. And when everything around me feels unstable, I want to be the one who builds on rock, not emotion. Teach me to stop leaning on my own understanding and instead fall completely into what you have spoken. Not because I have figured everything out, but because you have never failed. I choose now to root myself in your voice, not my doubt, in your word, not my worry, in what you declare, not what others expect. I no longer want to be shaped by opinions or by fear of man. I want to be shaped by Scripture, by the breath that formed the universe and still speaks to me today. Your word is living. It moves. It pierces. It divides. It heals. And it never returns empty. Speak your word over the dry places in my life, over the places where hope has grown brittle, over the places where fear has tried to grow roots. Let your word be the rain that softens what has gone hard. Let it sink deep, not resting on the surface, but reaching into the places I have hidden even from myself. I will not treat your word like a decoration. I will treat it like the very air I breathe, like food for a starving soul, like armor for a vulnerable heart, like the compass that keeps me from drifting. Your word is not just good advice, it is life-saving truth. It does not bend to culture. It does not shrink in storms. It does not expire when things get difficult. It is what holds the universe together, and it is what holds me together too. Remind me that I am not just a hearer, but a doer. That standing on your word means living by it. Trusting it. Acting like it is true, even when I can yet see the outcome. Let obedience grow in me not out of obligation, but out of love. Not to earn anything, but because your words are too holy to ignore. I choose to stand on what you said, not what I see. I choose to declare what you have written, not what fear imagines. When the enemy tries to remind me of who I was, I will remind him of what your word says I am. Chosen, redeemed, set apart, more than a conqueror, not because I am strong, but because you are. And your word says that you go before me. Let me become fluent in your truth. Let my first response be scripture when trouble comes, not panic. Let my inner dialogue be shaped by your promises, not my past. Let my mouth declare what you say is true, even when the evidence has not caught up yet. Faith is not about seeing first. It is about trusting the one who never lies. Your word has been tested by fire and found faithful. Let it test my motives, expose what is false in me, and rebuild what was broken. Let it speak life where the world has spoken death. Let it be louder than comparison, than criticism, than shame. Let it rise in me when I wake and rest on me when I sleep. Let it become the rhythm of my spirit. And when I forget, Lord, because I will bring me back again. Bring me back to the verses I underlined in tears. Bring me back to the chapters that carried me through battles. Bring me back to the truths I clung to when everything else fell apart. Let me remember not just the words, but the moments you made them real. You are not silent. You are not vague. You are not distant. You have spoken, and your word stands. It is my map in the wilderness, my strength in the valley, my shield in the fight, my anchor in the unknown. When I do not know what to pray, I will pray what you have already spoken. When I do not know where to go, I will look where you have already pointed. There is a weight to your word that my soul needs, a clarity that cannot be mimicked, a peace that cannot be copied. I will not trade that for anything, not for comfort, not for ease, not for the illusion of control. I will hold fast to what you have said, because everything else may fall, but you never do. So let your word dwell in me richly. Let it shape my choices, my speech, my mindset. Let it inform my prayers and filter my desires. Let it guide me when I am unsure, correct me when I stray, and encourage me when I falter. Let it be alive in me, not because I have memorized it, but because I live it. This is where I choose to stand not on what is popular, not on what feels safe, but on what is eternal. And though the wind may blow and the rain may fall, I will not be moved, not because I am brave, but because I am grounded in truth, in grace, in promises that cannot be broken. You have spoken, Lord, and I am listening, not just with my ears, but with my whole life. So even when I feel unsteady, I will trust that the ground beneath me is sure. Even when I feel small, I will trust that your word covers me like a fortress, and even when nothing makes sense, I will trust that what you have said is more real than what I see. This is how I will walk forward, with the word beneath me and your presence beside me, one step at a time, one truth at a time, one promise at a time. Father, as I stand on the foundation of your word, as I anchor myself to what you have spoken instead of what I feel, I begin to recognize the quiet war that has been happening beneath the surface for far too long. It is a war of words, of thoughts, of silent agreements I never meant to make. And now that the truth is rising in me, the lies are starting to unravel. They can no longer stay hidden. I see them for what they are. Some came dressed as reason. Some disguised themselves as humility. Some echoed voices from my past so convincingly I thought they were my own. But they were lies, and I believed them. I let them shape the way I saw myself. I let them influence my prayers, limit my dreams, distort my sense of identity. But now that light is shining, I choose to name them, not to dwell on them, but to break their power. The lie that says I am too broken to be used, I name it now. It has whispered for years, trying to convince me that my wounds disqualify me, but your word says you are close to the brokenhearted. Your word says you use the weak to shame the strong. So I reject the lie that brokenness is the end of the story. In you, it is the beginning. The lie that says I must earn love, I bring it into the open. It told me I had to be perfect, to always do the right thing, to never mess up or fall short. But you loved me before I could ever perform. You chose me while I was still flawed, and nothing I do will increase or decrease your love. It is not a reward. It is who you are. The lie that says I am a burden, I confront it now. It attached itself to moments of rejection, to seasons when I felt overlooked. It told me I was too much or not enough. But you call me beloved. You welcome me without hesitation. You do not just tolerate me, you delight in me. You made room for me at your table. The lie that says my voice does not matter, I cast it down. It made me small. It convinced me to stay silent. It made me believe others were more important, more valuable, more worthy of being heard. But you say, I am made in your image. You gave me a voice for a reason, to declare truth, to bring hope, to speak life. The lie that says nothing will change, I break agreement with it. It settled into my mind after long seasons of waiting. It numbed my hope. But your word tells me that you are always working, even when I do not see it. That you are the God of resurrection, of sudden shifts, of long-awaited answers. I choose faith, not futility. These lies were never from you. They were seeded by fear, watered by pain, and kept alive by silence. But now, I refuse to let silence protect them any longer. I will no longer bow to thoughts that do not reflect your heart. I will not give space to voices that lead me away from your presence. I bring every lie into the light, one by one, and I lay them at your feet. Your word says I am fearfully and wonderfully made, that I am more than a conqueror, that I have been given the mind of Christ, that I am seated with you in heavenly places. These are not motivational phrases. They are truth. And truth is not meant to sit on shelves. It is meant to dismantle every falsehood that ever tried to take root. Help me, Lord, to recognize even the subtle lies, the ones that sound harmless but carry poison, the ones that creep in through culture, through comparison, through unhealed wounds, the ones that come wrapped in logic but contradict your spirit. Teach me to test every thought, to examine the source, to hold up every belief against the mirror of your truth. Let me become sensitive to anything that contradicts who you say I am. Let me feel discomfort when I start to agree with despair. Let me be quick to repent when I notice I have allowed a false narrative to settle in. Let me be bold enough to correct the script playing in my mind when it no longer aligns with the promises you have spoken. And when I feel overwhelmed, when the thoughts swirl and the confusion creeps in, remind me that I have authority, not because I am powerful, but because I am yours. I have the authority to reject lies, to cast down arguments, to take thoughts captive. This is not a battle I fight alone. You have equipped me. You have armed me with truth, and your truth never fails. Sometimes the lies are wrapped in memories, painful ones, times I was spoken to harshly, moments when someone's words pierced deeper than they should have. And even though the moment passed, the message remained. I ask you to go into those places now. Bring healing where those words were planted. Uproot the bitterness. Replace every cursed phrase with blessing. Let my identity be built on what is eternal, not on childhood wounds, not on adult failures, not on human opinions. Let it be rooted in the voice that spoke creation into being, the voice that called light out of darkness and called me by name. I am not what happened to me. I am not what I feared. I am not what I failed to become. I am who you say I am, and that is enough. Let this be a turning point in the way I think. Let me begin to walk with a mind that is renewed, not conformed, a mind that is guarded by peace, not ruled by pressure, a mind that recognizes deception and clings tightly to wisdom. I do not want to just feel better, I want to think differently. I want to think like someone who has been set free. And freedom begins when the truth becomes louder than the lie. When your voice drowns out the shame, when clarity silences confusion, when love overrides fear. That is the transformation I ask for. Not surface-level motivation, but a rewiring of the thoughts that have held me hostage. And I believe it is already happening. So when the lies come back, and I know they will help me recognize them quickly, help me resist the urge to entertain them, help me replace them with truth that has already been planted. Let your word be my default, not my last resort. Let your voice be my compass, not just my comfort. From this day forward, I choose to live aware of the battle for my mind, aware of the authority I carry, aware of the truth I have been given. I will not be passive. I will not be polite with darkness. I will not nod in agreement with lies that rob me of peace and purpose. I will stand, rooted and ready, armed with truth, anchored in grace. And every time I speak truth over myself, every time I declare what you have said out loud, I believe something shifts in my spirit, in the atmosphere, in the unseen places where battles are won. So I will keep naming the lies, and I will keep replacing them with truth until the lies lose all their power, until they fall silent for good, until all that remains in my mind is what you have already spoken. And it is more than enough. Father, after naming the lies that have silently shaped the way I have lived, I now stand in the aftermath with a clearer heart. But as the truth settles in, something deeper begins to stir a tension that does not disappear with revelation alone. It is the pull of memory, the sting of wounds still healing, the echo of offenses left unresolved. And I know what you are bringing me to now. I know what you are asking of me. Forgiveness. It sounds so gentle, but it feels like a battlefield. Not because I do not want to obey you, but because the pain is real. The weight of what was done, or what was withheld, does not disappear just because I want to move forward. Some of the hurt still burns when I touch it. Some of the betrayals still show up in how I guard my heart. I have tried to cover them. I have tried to outgrow them. But now you are asking me to lay them down, not as weakness, but as warfare. Forgiveness, you remind me, is not pretending it did not happen. It is not excusing what was never right. It is not erasing the need for justice. It is surrendering the right to carry it alone. It is giving you what I cannot heal by holding. And when I see it through that lens, I realize this is not a soft step. It is a fierce one. It is how I declare that pain will not rule me. That offense will not own me. That bitterness will not shape who I become. Lord, help me. Help me let go of what I have held onto for too long. I do not want my hands full of old hurt when you are trying to place healing there. I do not want to carry resentment like armor when you are inviting me into freedom. I thought withholding forgiveness protected me. I thought it made me strong. But all it did was build walls that shut you out and kept the wound fresh. I do not want to carry the weight of what others did to me anymore. I want to release it not because they deserve it, but because I need it. I need the space to breathe again. I need to walk without the heaviness dragging behind me. So I speak it now, not with perfect ease, but with holy resolve. I forgive. I forgive the one who broke trust when I needed safety. I forgive the one who used words like weapons. I forgive the one who disappeared when I needed presence. I forgive the one who stayed silent when they should have spoken. I forgive the one who made me feel small when all I wanted was to be seen. I forgive those who did not know how deep their absence or their actions would cut. And even the ones who did. This is not about forgetting. This is about freedom. It is about opening the locked doors I have stood behind for too long and letting your grace rush in. It is about choosing not to carry stories that end in bitterness, but to write new ones that begin with healing. I release the need for them to say sorry. I release the need to be validated. I release the replaying of moments that only bleed the wound again. And Lord, if I am honest, some of the forgiveness I need to offer is toward myself. For the times I stayed silent, for the moments I did not stand up for myself, for the seasons I allowed shame to write my narrative, for not knowing better, for not healing sooner, for being harder on myself than you ever were. Help me to offer myself the same grace I long to offer others. Let me stop punishing the person I used to be when you have already called me new. Teach me what real forgiveness looks like. Not forgetting, not pretending, but choosing a higher road. Choosing peace. Choosing mercy. Choosing to walk in the same forgiveness you extended to me. Because I have been forgiven of more than I could ever repay. My freedom was bought with love I did not earn. And if you have so freely forgiven me, how could I hold back what cost me nothing but pride to release? Let every act of forgiveness be a declaration of victory. Let it echo in the spirit like the breaking of chains. Let it be louder than the offense. Let it be the sound of healing moving through my life like a river that refuses to stop. I do not just want to forgive once. I want it to become the way I live. A posture. A pattern. A power. Help me forgive when the memories return, when the wounds feel fresh again, when new offenses try to reopen old ones. Help me remember that forgiveness is not a one-time event, it is a daily surrender. And each time I choose it again, I grow stronger. Each time I choose it again, I take another step into wholeness. And Lord, for those I have hurt, whether I meant to or not, I ask you to forgive me. Bring their names to my heart, not to shame me, but to redeem what was lost. Help me own where I have fallen short. Help me seek restoration where I can, and peace where I can tea. Let my heart be soft, not stubborn. Let my humility make space for grace. If there is someone who needs to hear the words from me, I am sorry, give me the courage to say it, not to fix everything, but to own my part. And if there is someone I am waiting on to say those words to me, help me release the expectation. Help me choose peace over closure. Help me trust that you will handle what I can tea. Let forgiveness not just change my heart, but transform my language. Let me speak life, not labels. Let me build bridges, not walls. Let me be a voice of gentleness in a world that is grown cold with judgment. I want my words to reflect a heart that has been washed clean, not a heart still tangled in the past. And if the world calls forgiveness weakness, I will call it strength. If it says I should protect myself at all costs, I will remember that you protected me first when I did not deserve it, when I did not ask, when I could not even see how lost I was. You made space for my return. Let me now make space for others. I declare this act of forgiveness as holy ground. This is not passive. This is not avoidance. This is not denial. This is the sound of chains breaking in the unseen. This is healing rewriting the script. This is legacy being born, not in anger, but in grace. I choose to be free. I choose to walk light. I choose to walk like you. Let forgiveness be the lens I see others through. Let it be the atmosphere around me, the rhythm of my steps, the echo in my words. Let it go before me and follow after me. Let it soften what has grown hard. Let it make space for miracles I could never force. This is how the cycle ends. This is how the new begins. And I welcome it now. Every tear, every release, every step forward, it is all part of the healing you are writing into my life. And I will not hold back. Lord, Now that forgiveness has moved through me like a cleansing wave, softening what was hardened. Unlocking what was stuck, I feel the emptiness left behind. Not the kind that aches, but the kind that makes room. The weight I once carried has been lifted, and now there is space for something holy to take its place. I do not want to fill this space with anything less than you. I do not want to rush forward with empty hands. So here I am, open and ready, asking for what only you can give. I ask you now, Father, for fresh oil, and I ask you to light the fire again. I have felt the heat of pain, but now I long for the warmth of your presence, not a spark that flickers in the distance, but a steady, burning flame within me, the kind that does not just comfort but consumes, the kind that does not entertain but transforms, the kind that purifies and empowers at once. This is the fire I need, not emotional hype, not temporary zeal, but a holy blaze that refuses to go out when the days grow dark. I need your anointing, not because I want a spotlight, but because I want to carry something sacred into this world. Something that cannot be copied or faked or taken. Something that marks me as yours and fills every empty space with purpose. You promised that you would anoint those who are willing, not the strongest, not the most qualified, but the surrendered. So here I am, surrendering again. Let the oil of your spirit cover the places where disappointment once lived. Let it sink deep into the cracks of my humanity. Let it flow into the wounds forgiveness has made tender. I do not want to carry old strength into new seasons. I want what comes from you. I want to be filled, not with noise, but with power, not with striving, but with authority. Let this oil prepare me. Let it equip me. Let it ready me for the road ahead. And once the oil has been poured, let the fire fall. Let it ignite something lasting. Let it burn away every layer of apathy that has settled in over time. Let it destroy every excuse I have used to stay small. Let it consume the fear I have worn like a coat and the comfort I have called protection. Let it blaze through every part of me that still doubts, still delays, still withholds. Let this be a holy fire, not wild, but controlled, not destructive, but refining. I do not want to be someone who only knows about the fire. I want to carry it. I want to live with it burning in my chest and leaking through my words. I want others to see it not as a show, but as evidence. Evidence that I have been with you. Evidence that I walk with you. Evidence that even when I feel ordinary, there is something extraordinary at work within me. This is not about feeling spiritual. This is about being transformed. The oil is not for my comfort. It is for commission. The fire is not for display. It is for demonstration. So use me, Lord. Mark me. Fill me. I am not asking for more emotion. I am asking for more of you. I want to be a resting place for your spirit. I want to live with the kind of peace that unsettles darkness, with the kind of passion that revives the weary, with the kind of presence that speaks even when I say nothing. Let the oil restore what weariness has tried to steal. Let it coat every dry place until it becomes fertile again. Let it refresh my mind where thoughts have grown tired. Let it renew my spirit where hope has grown dim. And then, God, let the fire follow. Let it spark something that cannot be extinguished, not by trials, not by rejection, not even by time. Let this be more than just a moment. Let it be a shift. Let it be the point where something new begins, where I stop running from the calling and start rising into it. I am not waiting for someone to approve it. I am not waiting to feel worthy of it. I am not waiting for all the details to be clear. The oil has already been poured. The fire is already falling. And I am saying yes. Yes to being changed. Yes to being used. Yes to being set apart. Not because I am better than anyone, but because I am willing to be burned by love that is bigger than me. A love that purifies without destroying. A love that makes me holy without making me hard. A love that turns ashes into beauty and sparks into movements. Let me carry this flame carefully but boldly. Let me guard it when the wind rises and fan it when it grows low. Let me tend to it with devotion and protect it with prayer. Let me never take it for granted or reduce it to performance. This fire costs something. This oil is sacred, and I will not treat either with casual hands. Remind me that anointing is not about appearance. It is about presence. It is not about being loud. It is about being available. It is not about charisma. It is about character. So grow in me what the fire needs to keep burning. Deep roots. Strong walls. Pure motives. A heart that breaks for what breaks yours. A life that reflects the one who lit the flame to begin with. And when I feel empty again, because I know I will remind me that the oil never runs out when I stay near to you. That the fire never dies when I continue to surrender. That you are not asking me to be the source, only the vessel. I do not have to perform to stay anointed. I only have to remain yielded. So here I am again. Hands open. Heart exposed. Spirit ready. Pour the oil. Light the flame. Do what only you can do in me. Let me burn with purpose. Let me live with clarity. Let me move with confidence that does not come from my strength, but from your spirit. I do not want to go through the motions. I want to be marked. I want to be moved. I want to be made ready. This is what I was made for, not just to survive the days, but to carry fire through them. Not just to manage my calling, but to embody it. Not just to know truth, but to be transformed by it. I do not want to blend in. I want to be a light. I want to be set ablaze by something greater than myself. And now, in this sacred space you have created, I welcome the oil and the fire. I welcome all that comes with it, and I choose to let it begin in me. Father, now that you have poured the oil and lit the flame within me, I sense it is not meant to remain hidden. What you have ignited in secret is meant to shine in the open. What you have whispered in my stillness is meant to be spoken with clarity. I feel you urging me forward, not just to carry this fire silently, but to release it. Not just to live with truth in my heart, but to speak with truth in my mouth. There is something holy about a voice surrendered to you. Something powerful about words shaped by heaven and spoken through ordinary lips. And I know now that you are inviting me to speak not from my own opinion, not to impress or perform, but to declare what you are saying. To become a vessel through which your truth flows, not for my own sake, but for those waiting in silence, longing to hear something that will awaken them. Let your word be in my mouth like a living flame. Let it burn away hesitation. Let it silence self-doubt. Let it rise not from my need to be heard, but from my desire to honor you. I do not want to speak out of emotion or reaction. I want to speak out of revelation, out of time spent with you, out of overflow, not emptiness. Teach me how to carry your voice with reverence. I know my words have the power to heal or to wound, to lift or to crush. So refine me, God. Purify my speech. Filter my language through the weight of your truth. Let my tone carry compassion. Let my conviction be clothed in grace. Let the authority you have given me never become arrogance. Let boldness never become harshness. Let humility be the foundation of every word I speak. And when I feel unworthy to speak on your behalf, remind me that it is not about worthiness. It is about willingness. It is about obedience. Moses said he was slow of speech, but you said you would be with his mouth. Jeremiah felt too young, but you told him not to say that, because you had already appointed him. I am not too small. I am not too late. You do not need perfection. You simply need surrender. So here is my voice. Use it, Lord. Use it to speak hope where despair has taken root. Use it to proclaim freedom where people have accepted captivity as normal. Use it to call out identity in those who have forgotten who they are. Use it to remind the broken that healing is possible, and to remind the weary that they are not alone. Let my words carry the sound of heaven. Let them disrupt the lies and awaken truth. Let them be sharp enough to break chains, but gentle enough to wrap around wounds. Let them be light in dark places. Let them be arrows of peace, sent with precision to the hearts that need them most. And if my voice ever shakes, if fear tries to steal my sound, let me remember that your word never returns void. It never falls flat. It never expires. Every time I speak what you have given, something in the spirit shifts even if I cannot see it, even if no one else notices. You notice. You hear. You move. Help me to speak not just to people, but to the atmosphere, to the doubt that lingers in rooms, to the heaviness that clings to mornings, to the fear that stalks in silence. Help me to speak your promises over my home, over my mind, over the path ahead. Let me not wait for things to look different before I speak differently. Let my words go ahead of me and prepare the way. You have given me this voice for a reason, not to stay silent when injustice rises, not to echo the crowd when it drifts from your heart, but to stand and say what needs to be said, even if it is uncomfortable, even if it costs me something. Let me not be afraid of the sound of truth. Let me not whisper when you have called me to proclaim, but also remind me, Lord, that sometimes speaking is not about volume. It is about timing, about listening, about wisdom. Let me not rush to speak out of pride or impatience. Let me not fill the silence out of fear. Teach me when to speak and when to be still. Let me know the weight of a timely word and the restraint of holy quiet. Give me discernment to know when a word is mine and when it is yours, when to hold back and when to pour out. Let every word be birthed in prayer, not pressure. Let it come from a heart anchored in truth, not driven by the need to be seen. Let what I speak be the fruit of communion with you, not reaction to the world. Let my voice become a resting place for your spirit. Let my words carry the fragrance of grace. Let them reach the ones who have stopped listening because they have been hurt too many times. Let them sound different, not religious, not scripted, but real, alive, drenched in love. Let them stir hunger. Let them pull hearts closer to you. And when I speak over my own life, let it not be self-pity or defeat. Let it be aligned with your promises. Let me declare what you have said, even when my emotions resist. Let me speak with faith over what seems barren. Let me call out life where others have spoken death. Let me proclaim healing, restoration, breakthrough, not because I see it yet, but because I trust your word to bring it forth. This is more than communication. This is communion. This is agreement with heaven. This is co-laboring with you, not only in prayer but in speech. So let my voice echo what you are saying. Let my language become a bridge, not a wall. Let my conversations carry purpose. Let my everyday words become seeds that grow in unseen places. If my voice has grown quiet from fear or exhaustion, breathe on it again. Wake it up. Remind me of the power that rests in a willing mouth. Remind me that life and death are in the tongue, and I choose life. I choose to speak blessing, not cursing. I choose to speak courage, not complaint. I choose to speak faith, not fear. I choose to speak what you have already spoken. You said in your word that you would put your words in our mouths. So I open mine now, not to impress, but to release, not to prove anything, but to proclaim everything you have done and everything you are doing. Let this voice you have given me be one that makes darkness tremble and hope rise. Let it be marked with truth, covered in love, and led by your Spirit. Let it speak what only you can breathe. Lord, as I continue to move in step with you, I sense that there is more you are doing in the unseen. After lifting my voice and standing in the authority you have given me, there is still a stirring within that whispers of deeper places I have not yet touched, wounds I have buried, fears I have disguised as wisdom, and you are not content to leave them untouched. You are the God who goes beneath the surface, who does not heal halfway, who gently breaks what needs to be rebuilt. So I come before you again, not as one fully whole, but as one willing to be made whole. I offer not just my strength, but my weakness, not just my victories, but my vulnerability. I know now that you are not looking for perfection, but permission, the permission to touch the places that still ache. The corners of my heart I have kept guarded for so long I forgot they were even hurting. I trust that you are both the potter and the healer. You break not to harm, but to shape. You expose not to shame, but to restore. You tear down only what cannot hold the weight of your glory, so you can build something eternal in its place. There are parts of me that still resist, parts that still fear what surrender might cost. But deeper than fear is my longing for you. I want what is real. I want transformation, not just comfort. I want freedom, not just survival. I want to be made into someone who does not just carry your name, but carries your nature. So if it takes the breaking to become that, then break what you must, Lord, not in anger, but in mercy, not as a punishment, but as preparation. I see now how easily I have built walls around my heart, calling them wisdom when they were really wounds. I have mistaken numbness for peace. I have called my silence strength when it was fear, but you are peeling back the layers. You are taking me beyond appearances, beyond self-preservation, into the wild terrain of true healing. And it is not neat, it is not tidy, but it is holy, it is sacred, and I trust you in it. I remember that before new wine can be poured out, the old wineskin must be discarded. Before a seed can grow, it must be buried. Before gold can shine, it must pass through fire. You are not afraid of the process. So help me not to be either. Help me not to flee when the pruning begins. Help me not to resist when you touch the places that still throb with unspoken pain. Let me lean in, even when it hurts. Let me trust that even in the cracking, you are carving something beautiful. You have never promised ease, but you have promised presence. And your presence is what makes the breaking bearable. You kneel beside me in the dust. You gather every tear like treasure. You hold what falls apart until it can be reshaped. You speak truth over the rubble and call forth new beginnings. I hear you whisper, this is not the end, but the turning point, not the collapse, but the becoming. Let me not rush the work you are doing. Let me not demand closure before the lesson is complete. Let me sit with you in the in-between. Let me find beauty in the not yet. Let me breathe through the undoing and believe in the unveiling. Let me stop asking how long and start asking what you are forming in me. Let the process shape me, not break me. Let it make me softer, not harder. More compassionate, not more guarded. More alive, not more afraid. Even when I do not understand, help me trust. Even when I feel exposed, help me remember you only uncover to cover again with righteousness, with peace, with purpose. You are not cruel in your refining. You are kind. You are intentional. And you are near. And I know this season of breaking is not about destruction. It is about alignment. You are aligning me with what is eternal. You are burning away what was never meant to stay. You are opening me up so you can pour in something I could not have carried before. So I lift my hands in surrender again, not in defeat, but in expectancy. I know you are not done with me. I know the shaking is not punishment, it is invitation. The wilderness is not a curse, it is a classroom. The weeping is not weakness, it is washing. You are making all things new, and that includes me. That includes every hidden part of me I thought was too far gone. And in the quiet, I sense you reminding me that brokenness is not the opposite of blessing. Sometimes, it is the pathway to it. Sometimes, the cracks are the very places your light pours through. Sometimes, the collapse is the only way to uncover the gold within. So I will not despise this part of the journey. I will not curse the process. I will not numb myself to avoid the pain. I will feel it. I will face it. And I will find you in the middle of it. You are not just my comfort after the storm. You are my companion in it. You are not just the God who restores what was lost. You are the God who redefines it, who turns ashes into beauty, mourning into dancing, despair into praise. I believe you are doing that in me now, even if I can't yet see the full picture. I believe this is holy ground, even if it looks like a battlefield. I believe this pain has purpose, even if the purpose is still unfolding. Let me carry this season with reverence. Let me walk through it with dignity, not shame. Let me see the sacredness in the struggle. Let me remember that even in the undoing, I am being remade. Not back into what I was, but into something entirely new. Into someone who reflects you more clearly, who walks lighter, who loves deeper, who shines brighter because they have been through the fire and come out carrying glory. This is not the end of my story. It is the chapter where everything shifts. It is the hinge upon which the door of purpose swings open. So I lean into the breaking, not because it feels good, but because I trust the one who holds the pieces. I believe in the art of your hands. I believe in the timing of your heart. I believe you are not just shaping my life, but anchoring it in something eternal. Something unshakable. Something that will outlast the storm. And even in this sacred undoing, I declare that I am not lost. I am being led. I am not falling apart. I am being formed. I am not being punished. I am being positioned for more, for deeper, for everything you have always seen in me. God, I can feel something awakening in me now, a quiet rising, like the sun just beginning to stretch across the horizon. After the breaking, after the reshaping, after the surrender, there is this breath of something new. It is not loud. It is not dramatic, but it is real. It is steady. It is a stirring of vision that I had forgotten I once carried. Or perhaps it is a new vision altogether, born from the ashes of what I thought I needed, shaped by the pain I never expected to endure, and refined by the love you never stopped offering me. Lord, what is this that I feel in the depths of me? It is as if my spirit is leaning forward, drawn toward something not yet seen but deeply felt. This holy anticipation, this sacred unrest, is not anxiety, it is hope reborn. And it does not come from striving or trying to prove myself. It comes from resting in the truth that I am yours, and you are not done with me yet. You are still unfolding plans I cannot yet comprehend. You are still writing pages I have not read. And you are giving me the eyes to begin to see beyond the rubble, into the realm of promise. I know now that vision is not always grand or polished. Sometimes it comes as a whisper, a tug, a single step lit by your mercy. And that is enough. I do not need to know the whole path to begin walking. I do not need to hold the blueprint to trust the builder. You have shown me that clarity often follows obedience, not the other way around. And as I lean into this new day, I want to walk with a heart tuned to your leading, not demanding answers, but listening for direction, not pushing my plans forward, but making room for yours. There is a redness in me now, not because I feel capable, but because I believe you are faithful. Not because the way is easy, but because you walk it with me. And I sense that you're placing something within my hands again. A calling. A responsibility. A dream that carries weight, because it is no longer about proving my worth. It is about carrying your heart. About bringing what I have received into the lives of others who are still wandering, still breaking, still waiting for their own rising. You are showing me that vision is not only about what I will do, it is about who I will become as I walk in alignment with you. It is about being molded into someone who loves with open hands, who speaks truth without fear, who offers compassion without conditions. Someone who does not seek to be the hero of every story, but instead lives to reflect the light of the true Savior. Someone who remembers that calling is not performance, it is presence. It is availability. It is faithfulness in the small, the unseen, the everyday. Father, help me to hold this vision with humility, not to grasp at it, but to steward it, not to idolize it, but to follow you through it. Remind me that the fruit of vision grows in surrendered soil, that the best dreams are the ones planted in prayer, watered with tears, and harvested in your time. That influence without intimacy with you is hollow. That success without surrender is noise. I do not want to chase what looks good. I want to live what is good. I want to be faithful even if no one sees. I want to be fruitful even if it takes time. You have quieted my fears so I can finally hear you speak. You have healed my eyes so I can see through a different lens. You have steadied my hands so I can carry this new thing you are entrusting to me. And even if I feel unqualified, you remind me that you are the one who qualifies the called, that you use the broken to build bridges, that you use the humbled to bring healing, that you use the weak to reveal your strength. So I say yes to the stirring, to the stretching, to the slow, sacred unveiling of what comes next. Let me not be intimidated by the size of the dream or the silence of the waiting. Let me trust that every delay has refined me, every detour has shaped me, and every breaking has prepared me to carry this new mantle. And if I start to doubt again, remind me of how far you have already brought me. Remind me of the prayers you have already answered, the nights you stayed close, the moments you held me when I was too weak to stand. Let my history with you fuel my hope for what is ahead. This vision you are awakening in me, it is not just for me. It is for my family, for my community, for every soul who is still waiting to be reminded that they matter, that they are seen, that they have a place in the story. Use me, Lord, not as a symbol, but as a vessel. Let my life be proof that restoration is real, that grace can rebuild what shame tried to bury, that purpose can grow in the soil of pain. Let my scars become road signs for those still searching. Let my journey reflect your faithfulness more than my strength. I see now that vision requires vulnerability, that I must step out without full control, that I must risk being misunderstood, delayed, even opposed. But if you are the one who gave the dream, then you will sustain the journey. You will part the seas when the road is blocked. You will send manna when resources run low. You will open doors no man can shut. So I will not shrink back. I will not let fear write the next chapter. I will walk forward, even if it is trembling, because I walk with you. I will not let the past define what the future can hold. I will not let disappointment color what you are painting now. I will let go of what I thought it should look like and make room for what you are doing. I will open my hands. I will open my heart. I will open my life to the fullness of this calling, not because I am worthy, but because you are. And if you see something in me worth using, then I will not argue with your choice. I will simply keep saying yes, even when it costs, even when it stretches, even when it requires everything. Because what you are forming in me now is not just about this moment. It is about eternity. It is about legacy. It is about souls. And there is no greater privilege than to carry even a fraction of your heart into this world. So awaken me fully, Lord. Open my eyes to what you are doing. Stir my spirit to move when you speak. Align my desires with heaven. Let the fire you have placed in me burn bright, not for my name, but for yours. This is the season of seeing, not with my physical eyes, but with the eyes of faith. This is the moment when the fog begins to lift, and I realize I was never forgotten. I was being formed. I was never disqualified. I was being equipped. And now, with vision reborn, I will walk where you lead, carrying hope, carrying truth, carrying light into every place you send me. Lord, as I step into the quiet strength you have been building in me, I feel the subtle but undeniable shift in the atmosphere around my soul. It is as though the trembling steps I once took in uncertainty are now growing steadier, not because I have suddenly become strong, but because I have finally stopped relying on my own strength. I can feel your power at work in the places where I once broke, your steady hand guiding the parts of me that used to falter. You are not just calling me forward. You are carrying me there, and my heart is responding with a faith that dares to believe again. Father, you have taken what once felt too heavy and replaced it with something wholly a burden that is light only because you are the one lifting it with me. I used to think courage meant being fearless, but now I understand that true courage is trusting you even while fear whispers. It is waking up each morning and choosing to move anyway. It is choosing to show up, to speak up, to stand up for what is right, even when the cost is high and the crowd is silent. And I can feel you gently encouraging me to not just believe quietly, but to walk boldly. There is a boldness you are calling out of me. One that does not come from pride, but from presence. Not a loud confidence rooted in self, but a grounded assurance rooted in you. And I see now that when you call someone, you do not ask them to come perfect. You ask them to come willing. You invite them to bring their yes to the altar, to lay down the fear of what others might say, and to carry the truth with grace and conviction. So here I am, Lord, not asking for the easiest road, but for the courage to walk the one you have set before me without shrinking back. Give me boldness to speak truth even when silence feels safer. Give me boldness to love deeply even when others recoil. Give me boldness to pray with authority, to live with purpose, to lead with integrity even when no one is watching. Let me not confuse humility with hiding. Let me not mistake peace for passivity. Let me be someone who moves with gentle strength, fierce love, and a holy resolve that refuses to let fear write my story. God, you have made it clear this world does not need louder voices. It needs truer ones. It needs hearts that are so full of you that every word, every action, every silence even, echoes heaven. I do not want to move in my own energy. I want to walk in the authority you have given me as your child, not to control, but to serve, not to impress, but to impact, not to seek attention, but to shift atmospheres with kindness, with faith, with unshakable hope. Lord, remind me that I do not walk into rooms alone, that when I enter a space, so does the peace you have placed within me, that I carry your presence not in loud declarations, but in how I listen, how I extend grace, how I choose faithfulness over fame. You have taught me that spiritual authority is not about force, it is about alignment. It is about walking so closely with you that my thoughts echo your heart and my steps follow your pace. And yet, Father, I know there will be moments that try to shake me, doors that do not open, voices that criticize, fears that rise again. But in those moments, let me remember the quiet history we have built. Let me remember the nights I cried out and you answered, the mornings I wanted to give up and you whispered strength, the days I fell apart and you gathered the pieces with tenderness. My courage does not come from never falling, it comes from knowing you never let me stay down for long. So I ask you now to help me keep my head lifted and my heart anchored, to keep my eyes fixed not on outcomes, but on obedience, to keep walking even when the path is lonely, to keep loving even when it is not returned, to keep sowing even when I have not seen the harvest yet. You are not asking me to be perfect. You are asking me to be faithful, to take the step, to trust the process, to believe that your strength is made perfect in my weakness, and that when I feel the least capable, you are doing the most through me. God, if I ever start to doubt again, remind me that my assignment is not about my comfort, it is about your kingdom. And in your kingdom, the smallest seed can move mountains. The quietest whisper can silence storms. The overlooked servant can change nations. So even when it feels like I am only making small ripples, help me believe that you are using every word, every gesture, every prayer to build something eternal. Nothing offered in love is wasted. Nothing surrendered in faith is forgotten. Let me walk boldly not just in public, but in private. Let my private life be saturated with integrity. Let my thoughts be purified by truth. Let my motives be anchored in love. Let my discipline in secret build the foundation for everything seen. I do not want to impress the world. I want to move your heart. I want to hear you whisper, well done, even if no one else notices what I gave, what I carried, what I chose to release for your sake. And when I feel resistance, because I know I will, let me not be surprised. Let me not retreat. Let me not question the vision just because it meets opposition. Let me remember that light will always be met with darkness. But it is the light that overcomes, that obedience often invites pressure, but it also invites miracles, that the narrow road is rarely crowded, but it is always worth it. Lord, you are shaping a boldness in me that is not loud, but lasting, not flashy, but fruitful, not self-made, but spirit-led. And I am learning to walk in it not with arrogance, but with awe. That you, the King of the universe, would place your spirit in me, would trust me with your mission, would call me to carry your truth into the spaces I move through. That humbles me, but it also compels me. I cannot go back to playing small when I have tasted the power of walking with you. So wherever you send me next, I will go. However you ask me to serve, I will obey. Whatever you call me to release, I will surrender. And whatever you entrust to me, I will steward with reverence. I will not let fear stop what you have started. I will not let doubt drown out the call. I will not let comparison distract me from the path you have written for me alone. You have not called me to replicate another's journey. You have called me to walk mine with you. And as I walk, may others see not just my courage, but your strength, not just my words, but your love, not just my presence, but your spirit alive within me. Let my life be a living testimony that you are still moving, still speaking, still redeeming, still empowering ordinary people to do extraordinary things, not because of who they are, but because of who you are through them. This is the boldness I choose today, and every day you wake me again. Lord, when you call, there is a weight to it that both humbles and stirs something deeper inside me. It is not a voice I can ignore, not a whisper I can forget. It echoes in the stillness, tugging gently at my heart until I know with certainty that it is you. You do not always speak in thunder, but when you do speak, there is a power that pierces through every excuse I try to offer. And as I continue walking in the boldness you have cultivated, I find myself now facing something even more sacred: the call to obey, even when it hurts, even when it costs. Father, obedience is not always glorious. Sometimes it feels like walking away from something I deeply love. Sometimes it looks like staying when I want to run. Sometimes it means forgiving when everything in me wants to hold on to pain. Obedience asks me to trust when the way forward is unclear and my instincts scream for control. But you are teaching me that your will is not a path to comfort, but to transformation. And transformation cannot happen without surrender. So I bring you my surrender again, not because it is easy, but because I know obedience unlocks the life I was truly made for. Help me not just to hear you, but to respond. Let my yes be more than words. Let it be lived. Let it be costly if it must, because I have learned that anything I give up for you never leaves my hands empty. You always fill the surrendered places with something deeper, something eternal. But the moment of letting go still aches. God, it is in these quiet battles of the heart where obedience becomes real. When no one else sees the inner wrestling. When the choice to follow you does not look victorious, but feels like death to pride, death to desire, death to the version of myself I used to cling to. These are the moments I need your strength the most, not the kind that moves mountains outside of me, but the kind that moves the mountain within me, the kind that chooses your way when everything in me wants mine. Let obedience become my daily language, my steady rhythm, my anchor when everything else feels unstable. When you ask me to stay silent, help me obey. When you ask me to speak, help me obey. When you ask me to wait, even when I am desperate to move, help me obey. When you ask me to act, even when fear trembles in my chest, help me obey. I do not want to just do big things for you. I want to do the hard things for you. The private things. The hidden things. The things no one celebrates but you. Father, you see what no one else does. You see the heart behind the sacrifice. You see the trembling behind the yes. And I believe that moves you more than polished performances ever could. So help me stay faithful when it is not exciting. Help me keep showing up when there is no applause. Help me choose holiness over hustle, obedience over recognition, integrity over shortcuts. You are more interested in who I am becoming than what I am achieving, and that shifts everything. Some days, obedience will look like choosing peace when conflict is easier. Other days, it will be drawing boundaries when it would be simpler to avoid confrontation. And sometimes, you will ask me to walk away from places I have made comfortable, people I have grown attached to, or roles that have become my identity. Help me trust you in those moments. Remind me that you never subtract without intention. That when you close a door, you are not punishing me, you are preparing me for something I can yet see. Lord, help me release the need to understand every step. Obedience is not about clarity, it is about trust. If I am always waiting for full understanding, I will never move. But if I trust that you are good, I can step into the unknown with peace. Not because I see everything, but because I know you do. And you walk with me. You never call me without going ahead of me. In a world that celebrates control, help me be someone who chooses surrender. In a culture obsessed with comfort, help me live for something higher. Let my life reflect that obedience is not bondage, but freedom, the kind of freedom that only comes when I stop fighting you and start following you, even when it does not make sense to others, even when it does not make sense to me. God, I know there will be moments when my obedience leads to misunderstanding. People may question my choices, my motives, my silence, or my movement. They may not see what you have whispered to me in the quiet, but help me be okay with being misunderstood. Let me not trade obedience for approval. Let me not abandon the path you have called me to just to be accepted by people you never asked me to follow. Let the voice of your spirit be louder in my heart than the noise of opinions. Let me be more concerned with being aligned with heaven than applauded by earth. I do not want to live for temporary validation. I want to live for eternal purpose. Obedience is rarely easy, but it is always worth it. And I have seen what happens when I obey. I have seen the doors open that I never could have forced. I have seen peace cover me when I should have broken. I have seen miracles happen on the other side of surrender. Father, sometimes obedience means choosing the long way when the shortcut is tempting. It means choosing the narrow road when the wide one looks easier. But you have promised that those who walk in your ways will never walk alone. and I am learning to value the journey more than the destination. Because on this journey, I am not just being led, I am being shaped. So shape me, Lord. Use my obedience to mold my heart. Use my surrender to deepen my roots. Use my sacrifices to bear fruit in season. I want to be someone who obeys not just when it is obvious, but when it is quiet, when the answer is slow, when the outcome is uncertain. Let my obedience be my offering, my worship. Not performance, but devotion. Not forced, but flowing from love. And when obedience leads me into the wilderness, remind me that you have been there too. You know the silence. You know the hunger. You know the wrestling. And you overcame. So I do not walk into hard places alone. I walk in with the one who conquered every temptation and stayed faithful to the end. You are not just my example. You are my strength, my endurance, my resolve, my joy in the midst of obedience that costs everything but leads to life. This is the kind of life I long for, Lord, a life that says yes before the details, a heart that moves at your whisper, a spirit that bends before it breaks, not because I am strong, but because you are steady, and in you, even the hardest obedience becomes the doorway to peace, to purpose, and to a joy this world cannot steal. Keep me walking. Keep me trusting. Keep me saying, yes, God. I feel you stretching me again, pulling gently but firmly away from the illusion of control. As I continue walking in obedience, I begin to realize that saying yes to you is only the beginning. The deeper challenge lies not just in the act of obeying, but in trusting the rhythm of your timing. You are not hurried. You are not pressured by the clocks and calendars that govern my mind. And still, you are never late. Everything you do is perfectly placed in time, even when my heart is anxious for things to move faster. Lord, I confess how often I want your promises fulfilled according to my schedule. I look around and see others reaching milestones I thought would be mine by now. I see doors opening for others that I have been praying for in silence. I see breakthroughs falling like rain in places where my own land still feels dry. And though I celebrate what you are doing for others, I can deny the ache that asks, when is it my turn? But even in this space of waiting, you whisper with unwavering peace that my timeline is not being overlooked, it is being handcrafted. Father, teach me to wait with expectancy, not impatience. Let the waiting become sacred ground, not wasted time. Don't let delay breed doubt. Don't let silence become a seedbed for fear. Instead, help me lean into the waiting with trust, so full that it disarms every voice of anxiety. Waiting with you is never passive, it is active faith. It is choosing peace while my eyes are still looking for the evidence. It is choosing to believe that the God who holds the universe together can surely hold the details of my life as well. Sometimes I forget that your timing is a form of mercy. There are blessings I am not yet ready to carry, doors I am not yet mature enough to walk through, people I am not yet prepared to lead, platforms I am not yet grounded enough to stand on. You delay not to punish, but to protect, not to deprive, but to prepare. So help me view your pace not as resistance, but as refinement. Help me trust that every no, every not yet, every closed door is a brushstroke in the larger masterpiece of your plan. Lord, if I rush ahead of you, I risk building something impressive but unstable. I might reach a destination, but arrive without character, without depth, without you. I do not want that. I do not want to achieve what I cannot sustain. I do not want to gather what I cannot steward. I want to grow with you, not apart from you, and so I yield. Again, to your pace, even if it feels slow, even if it makes me invisible for a season, even if it means my dreams must remain buried a little longer, like seeds still waiting for their moment to rise. Father, you never forget a seed that is sown in faith, and you never waste a season of stillness. What looks like nothing happening on the surface is often where the deepest roots are growing underneath. You are anchoring me so that when the growth comes, I am not uprooted by the winds of success or shaken by the pressure of visibility. You are teaching me that the waiting season is a proving ground, not to prove myself to others, but to prove my trust in you. Help me stop watching the clock and start watching your hand. Let my eyes stay fixed on what you are doing, not what I fear is being delayed. Let me see every pause as a divine pause, every detour as divine direction. And even when it feels like I have been overlooked, help me remember that your eyes never leave me. You are always working, even when I see no sign of movement. God, I do not want to rush past this season and miss the treasures it holds. There is something you are shaping in me here, something that urgency would ruin, something that shortcuts would sabotage. Let me embrace the gift of becoming. Let me honor the process of preparation. Let me stop treating waiting as a punishment and start receiving it as a privilege. Because time in your hands is never wasted. You are not just preparing the blessing for me, you are preparing me for the blessing. Lord, protect my heart from envy. Comparison is a thief that robs the joy of my own journey. It tempts me to believe that what you have done for others somehow subtracts from what you have planned for me. But you are not limited. You are not stingy. You are not running out of opportunities, or provision, or purpose. You are abundant, and my story is not behind it, is being written with holy intention. So I release the urge to compete. I release the lie that I have missed my moment. If I am still breathing, then you are still unfolding. If I am still waiting, then you are still working. Father, grant me patience that is anchored in faith, not frustration. Let me walk through each day with eyes open to what you are doing now, not just what I am hoping for next. Let me celebrate the small signs, the quiet answers, the hidden graces that remind me you are near. Let me not measure progress only by outcomes, but by obedience, not just by goals achieved, but by trust cultivated. You are more interested in the formation of my heart than the fulfillment of my agenda. Help me steward this season well. Let me not waste my waiting with worry. Let me not numb it with distractions. Let me not complain my way through it, but praise my way through it. Let me build discipline in the hidden place. Let me strengthen my spiritual muscles while no one is watching, because I know that when the next season arrives, it won't give me time to prepare. I must be ready when it calls, and readiness is built here in the secret, in the silence, in the slow. God, thank you for not rushing my growth. Thank you for being more patient with me than I am with myself. Thank you for staying consistent when my faith wavers. Thank you for reminding me that the weight is not a wall, is a hallway, and even hallways have a purpose. They move me from one place to the next. They are transition spaces, and you do some of your best work in transition. So I choose to walk the hallway with grace, to let it shape me, rather than frustrate me. I choose to trust that what you are doing in the delay is just as important as what you will do in the deliverance. Choose to believe that even in the waiting, I am not stuck, I am being positioned. I am not falling behind, I am being aligned. And in this alignment, there is peace. Lord, if your timing is different than mine, then let it be so. If your ways are higher, then help me rise in trust. If your pace is slower, then help me find rest in the rhythm. You are not bound by time, yet you step into mine with kindness. You see the end from the beginning, and you still walk with me through the middle. So I will keep walking. I will keep trusting. I will keep waiting, not with dread, but with hope. Because hope does not disappoint when it is placed in you. And my hope is in you, always. Father, as I continue this journey of faith and surrender, I sense you calling me deeper into the truth of who I am in you. The more I let go of my need to control the timing, the more I find myself standing in the quiet space where identity is shaped. I realize now that I cannot fully walk in authority without first being rooted in the identity you gave me. So many voices try to tell me who I am. Expectations, opinions, wounds, and comparisons all whisper their definitions. But none of them know the blueprint you wrote over my life before I ever took my first breath. You alone, Lord, hold the true version of me. You remind me that I was created with purpose, not by accident. I was knit together intentionally. Every part of me, from my strengths to my struggles, was formed under your wisdom. And while the world may try to reduce me to labels and roles, you see the entirety of my being. You do not define me by my failures, my achievements, or what others have said. You call me chosen, beloved, redeemed, and called. You do not waver in your view of me, even when I doubt myself. Lord, help me to shed the false identities I have carried, I adopted in pain or wore out of fear. Let me take off the masks I have used to blend in, to please, to perform. Let me step out of the roles I have accepted just to feel valuable or needed. I no longer want to live under the weight of trying to be someone I am not. I want to walk freely in who you made me to be, without shame or hesitation. There is freedom in truth, and I long to live in that truth fully. God, give me the courage to stand in my identity, even when it sets me apart. Sometimes being who I really am means I want to be understood. Sometimes it means walking away from what is familiar. Sometimes it means confronting the lies I have believed for years. But if it draws me closer to you, then it is worth the cost. I do not want to blend in with the noise of this world. I want to reflect the design you carefully created, I want my life to be a mirror that points back to the one who formed it. Help me stop comparing my story to others. Identity loses its clarity when I measure it against someone else's journey. You did not make me to be a copy of another. You crafted me uniquely. My voice, my presence, my calling, all are distinct reflections of your creativity. And when I try to imitate someone else's path, I dilute the power of my own. Teach me to celebrate others without diminishing myself. Let me bless their growth while honoring the pace and shape of mine. Father, when insecurities rise, remind me of your voice, not the voice of fear that says, I am not enough, not the voice of shame that echoes past mistakes, not the voice of rejection that tries to convince me I am unworthy of love or calling. Let me hear your voice, the one that speaks life, value, and authority into the deepest places of my soul. You say I am yours. You say I am equipped. You say I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Let those words become the foundation I stand on today. Lord, help me reclaim the parts of myself I have buried, parts I thought were too broken, too strange, too much, or not enough. Help me bring them back into the light of your love and see them with new eyes. You are not ashamed of any part of me. Even the areas still being healed are held with tenderness by you. Let me stop running from who I am and instead run into the arms of the one who knows me fully and still chooses me completely. You have not called me to walk in fear, but in boldness, not in pride, but in confidence that comes from knowing who I belong to. I am not defined by my past. I am not limited by my weaknesses. I am not shaped by public opinion. I am defined by the cross. I am shaped by grace. I am rooted in truth. Let this reality silence every lie and lift every burden. Let ignite a fire in me to live fully awake, fully aware, and fully surrendered. Lord, I no longer want to shrink back when you are calling me to rise. I no longer want to dim my light to make others comfortable. You placed this light in me for a reason, not to be hidden, but to shine. So give me the faith to show up as the person you created. Even when it is uncomfortable, even when it invites criticism, even when it demands more trust than I think I have. Let me be authentic in a world of masks. Let me be real in a world of filters. Let me be yours in a world that pulls in every other direction. Father, I also know that walking in identity requires surrender. It means laying down what I thought success looked like and embracing what you call fruitful. It means being willing to be misunderstood, overlooked, or even rejected for the sake of obedience. But it also means walking in peace that does not waver, in joy that does not depend on applause, and in strength that is not earned but received. There is nothing more powerful than a person who knows who they are in you and lives like it. Help me raise my head today, straighten my posture, fill my words with grace and conviction. Let my presence carry the weight of your glory, not because I strive, but because I abide. Let my steps be grounded in truth. Let my choices be shaped by integrity. Let my responses come from a place of wholeness, not insecurity. Let me become someone who reflects you in every room I walk into, not because I perform, but because I belong to you. God, Protect me from the temptation to perform for approval. Let me remember that I am already accepted, already loved, already called. I do not have to earn my worth, I only have to believe it. Let that belief sink so deeply into my spirit that it transforms how I speak, how I move, how I live. Let it become the lens through which I see every situation, every challenge, and every interaction. Because when I see myself through your eyes, everything changes. Even in moments when I feel unseen, help me know that I am fully known by you. Even when others mislabel me, help me rest in the name you have given me. Even when I feel unqualified, help me trust that you do not call the qualified, you qualify the called. And I am called. I may not see all the fruit yet, but I trust that as I walk in alignment with you, everything you have placed in me will begin to bloom. So I step forward today with open hands and a grounded heart, not chasing titles, but embracing purpose, not craving recognition, but walking in obedience, not needing to prove anything, but willing to be everything you created me to be. Let my life be the evidence that identity in you is the most powerful foundation I can stand on. Let me live in such a way that others are inspired to seek their own identity in you. Because when we know who we are, we become unstoppable not for our own glory, but for yours. Father, in the quiet of this moment, I lift my heart to you again. After learning to walk boldly in who you made me to be, I now sense the call to remain steadfast, to stand when everything around me shakes. Because identity is not only discovered in clarity, it is tested in adversity. And you, Lord, are not just the one who names me, but the one who strengthens me to endure through every storm. You have never promised me ease, but you have promised your presence, and that alone is enough to steady my soul. I have come to realize that faith is not just believing in the mountaintop seasons. Real faith is forged in the valleys, where shadows fall and questions rise. It is in the waiting, the aching, the wrestling, that my roots grow deeper, not because I am strong, but because you are faithful, not because I never waver, but because you hold me even when I do. So today, I come not with polished words or perfect praise, but with a heart that says, I still trust you. Even here, Lord, give me the strength to endure what I do not understand. Sometimes, your silence feels loud, and your timing feels slow. Sometimes, the answers I long for seem just out of reach. And I am tempted to believe you have forgotten me, but I know better. I know you are not absent in the quiet. You are not distant in the delay. You are working, even in what I cannot see. So help me hold on. Help me cling to the truth when the evidence around me seems to say otherwise. There are moments, Father, when the weight I carry feels like more than I can bear. The pressure, the responsibilities, the griefs I do not always talk about, they press in from every side. But even here, you remind me that I am not alone. You have placed strength within me that does not come from human willpower, but from divine resilience. It is not about gritting my teeth or pretending I am okay. It is about yielding to the one who walks beside me and gives me grace for every step. God, help me stay faithful in the small things. The enemy often tries to distract me not with evil, but with wariness. He knows that if he can't destroy me, he will try to discourage me. He will whisper that my obedience does not matter, that my prayers are not powerful, that my consistency is unnoticed. But you see it all, every quiet act of faithfulness, every time I choose integrity when no one is looking, every time I forgive when it hurts, every time I show up when I want to give up. You honor those unseen victories. I ask you to guard my heart against bitterness, especially when the journey is long. It is easy to become frustrated when things do not move at my pace. It is tempting to look at others and wonder why their doors are opening while mine remain shut. But you know what I need, and when I need it. You see the whole picture while I only see a piece. Help me to trust that you are never late, even if your timing is different from mine. Help me remember that delay does not mean denial, it often means preparation. Let me not grow weary in doing good. Let me not let go of the plow because the ground feels hard. Let me not abandon the call because the crowd thins. Let me press on, not because it is easy, but because you are worth it. And you never asked me to walk alone. Your spirit empowers me. Your word sustains me. Your promises are my anchor when the winds rise. I am not walking toward victory. I am walking from a place of victory, already secured by the cross. Lord, I want to be someone who does not just believe in you when the sun shines, but someone who still lifts my eyes when the storm rolls in. Let me be found faithful, not flawless, but faithful. Let my life be marked by endurance, not perfection, because you are not looking for those who never fall, but for those who rise again with you as their strength. And when I am weak, you are strong. That is my hope. Father, when I feel forgotten or overlooked, remind me that you never lose sight of me. When I feel invisible to people, remind me I am seen by you. When I feel that nothing is changing, help me trust that transformation often begins in the hidden places. It is not always visible at first, but that does not mean it is not happening. You are doing something in me before you do something through me. You are strengthening my character so it can carry the weight of my calling. Sometimes I want to escape the fire, but you are using it to refine me. Sometimes I ask for the thorn to be removed, but you are using it to keep me dependent. Sometimes I beg for the door to open, but you are building the patience that will keep me grounded when it finally does. You are more interested in who I become than how fast I arrive, and I am learning, day by day, to value the process, even when it stretches me. Give me spiritual stamina, Lord, the kind that does not fade when the applause ends, the kind that endures beyond emotional highs, the kind that remains steady when friends walk away or when the path feels lonely. Teach me how to keep walking, one step at a time, trusting that obedience is never wasted, that every yes to you carries eternal weight, that every surrendered moment adds to the legacy you are writing through my life. I want to be unshaken not because life is easy, but because my foundation is unmovable. I want to have a fire in my bones that trials can put out. I want to have a peace that does not make sense to the world, a joy that is not based on outcomes, a strength that does not come from me but flows through me, because I stay connected to you. Let your presence be the place where I regain my breath and renew my fight. When I feel tempted to quit, remind me why I started. Remind me of the people watching, learning, and drawing strength from my journey. Remind me of the seeds being planted even when I do not see the harvest yet. Remind me this is not just about me, it is about generations. And when I feel like giving up, let me remember that you never did. You endured the cross for the joy set before you. You held on when it hurt. You stayed so that I could stand today. So I lift my hands again in surrender, not because I have no fight left, but because I choose to receive the fight you give. I choose endurance. I choose to stay rooted. I choose to believe that you are working, even now, that you are strengthening every weak place, that you are shaping me for something greater than what I see, and I will wait on you, not passively, but with expectation. I will stand firm, not because I have all the answers, but because I know the one who does. God, help me to carry today with grace. Help me walk into each moment, not as a victim of circumstance, but as a vessel of hope. Help me speak life, even when I feel drained. Help me show up with integrity, even when I am weary. Help me love well, even when I feel empty. Let my life preach endurance louder than my words ever could. Let my consistency become a song of worship to you, one note at a time, one step at a time. Let my faith not be shaken by delay, opposition, or silence. Let it be the anchor that holds fast. Let it be the flame that burns steady. Let it be the light that points others to you. And as I continue this journey, let me remember that perseverance is not weakness, it is power under your authority, His strength refined by surrender. And in that strength, I will keep walking. I will keep believing. I will keep standing, because you are worthy, and you are with me. Father, as I stand in the stillness of this new morning, I sense you drawing me deeper into your wisdom. After learning to endure and remain steadfast in seasons of pressure, I now recognize that strength alone is not enough without discernment. To walk with you requires not only faith and endurance, but clarity of heart and soundness of judgment. And so I come, Lord, asking not just for strength to keep moving, but for light to see where you are leading. You have shown me that not every open door is an invitation, and not every voice is truth. The world offers many paths, many choices dressed in charm, many opportunities that glimmer but lead to emptiness. I cannot trust my feelings alone. I cannot lean solely on my experience or instinct. I need your wisdom to guide me, your voice to clarify the noise, and your spirit to filter every decision I make. I want to move, not in reaction, but in revelation. God, give me eyes to see beyond appearances. Let me recognize truth even when it is quiet, and discernception even when it is loud. Help me pause before I rush. Help me weigh before I act. Sometimes the most spiritual thing I can do is to be still and listen. Let my heart be sensitive to your nudges, even if they go against what I expect. Let me be more interested in alignment than acceleration, more concerned with obedience than outcomes. Lord, you know how often I want answers right now. I want to know what comes next, what the right choice is, what the result will be. But sometimes you do not show me the whole picture because you are teaching me to trust you step by step. So instead of demanding full clarity, help me walk with daily discernment. Help me be faithful in what is in front of me while I wait for what is ahead. Let me not be paralyzed by indecision, but anchored in your presence as I move. There are moments when the voices around me seem louder than your whisper. The opinions of others, the pressures of expectations, the noise of culture, they compete for my attention. I ask you to quiet every voice that does not come from you, even the ones within me that are shaped by fear or pride. Let your truth be the loudest sound in my soul. Let your word be the filter through which I process everything. Let your spirit be the compass that points me to what is right, not just what is easy. Father, I know that wisdom is not just knowledge. It is the ability to apply truth in love. It is patience when I want to rush. It is listening more than speaking. It is asking the right questions instead of clinging to the quick answers. So build in me a posture of humility. Let me be teachable, not just informed. Let me seek counsel from those who walk closely with you, not those who simply echo my own voice. Let me be willing to learn even when it challenges me. God, protect me from impulsive decisions that are driven by emotion rather than your spirit. When I am tired, do not let me choose what seems comforting but ultimately distracts me from my calling. When I am afraid, do not let me cling to control in the name of safety. When I am ambitious, do not let me run ahead of your timing. When I am discouraged, do not let me settle for less than what you have promised. I do not just want to make good decisions, I want to make God decisions. I recognize that discernment also means knowing when to say no. There are paths that look promising, but are not part of my assignment. There are battles that are not mine to fight. There are people who mean well, but are not meant to walk with me. Give me the wisdom to release what does not align with the purpose you have placed in me. Help me focus on what bears eternal fruit, not just temporary gain. Teach me the sacred art of focus in a world of distractions. Lord, sometimes the hardest choices are not between right and wrong, but between good and best. I ask you to help me navigate those decisions with clarity. Show me what aligns with the season I am in. Show me where to invest my time, my energy, and my heart. Let me not be driven by guilt, people-pleasing, or fear of missing out. Let me be led by conviction, by peace, and by the quiet assurance that I am walking with you. Give me discernment in my relationships. Help me see people the way you see them, not through the lens of my past experiences or assumptions, but with fresh compassion and honesty. Help me love well without losing boundaries. Help me forgive without enabling. Help me discern when to lean in and when to step back. Let every connection be rooted in purpose, not just comfort or convenience. Father, you have called me to be a light, but even light needs direction. Even salt needs placement. I do not want to burn brightly in the wrong place. I do not want to offer flavor where you have not assigned me. Teach me to listen for your placement, your positioning. Let me not force myself into spaces you have not prepared, and let me not shrink back from the ones you have opened. I surrender my desire to be seen, chosen, or successful, and instead ask to be aligned. And as I walk forward, Lord, let discernment not make me prideful, but grateful. It is not a mark of superiority, but of intimacy with you. The more I hear your voice, the more I realize how much I still need to learn. The more you reveal, the more I want to stay close. I never want to reach a place where I depend more on experience than on your spirit. Keep me humble. Keep me listening. Keep me yielded. God, let my life be a reflection of quiet wisdom, not loud declarations, but steady fruit, not constant noise, but consistent character. Let those around me recognize something different, not because I always have the right words, but because I live with quiet clarity. Let my choices speak louder than my opinions. Let my peace speak louder than my defense. Let my walk speak louder than my talk. And when I do make mistakes, which I know I will, help me recognize them quickly and course correct with grace. Let me not be afraid of being wrong, but more afraid of staying wrong out of pride. Let me apologize when needed. Let me grow without shame. Let me learn without pretending. Let your wisdom correct me gently, yet firmly, guiding me back to the way that leads to life. Thank you, Father, for giving wisdom generously to those who ask. Thank you for never withholding what I need when I come to you sincerely. I trust that you are always speaking. And now I ask you to keep teaching me how to listen, not just with my ears, but with my spirit, not just for direction, but for transformation. Because wisdom is not just about knowing where to go, but about becoming who you have called me to be along the way. As I walk into today, I choose to walk with eyes open, heart soft, and spirit alert. I choose to pause before reacting. I choose to weigh my words. I choose to ask before assuming. I choose to trust you more than I trust myself. And in every crossroad, big or small, I will wait for your whisper before I take a step. I will seek your heart before I follow my own. I will lean into your truth before I lean into my comfort. Because I believe that with you, I will never be misled. With you, every step may not be easy, but it will be right. And with you, I will have the wisdom I need not just for decisions, but for living a life that reflects your heart in every season. Lord, as I follow the thread of discernment you placed in my heart, I feel you calling me deeper, not into more striving or planning, but into the sacred gift of now. I sense you reminding me that even the wisest choices can lose their meaning if I am not fully present when I walk them out. And so this morning, as I stand on the threshold of a new day, ask you to help me remain rooted in the moment, attentive to the rhythm of your grace in real time. It is so easy, Father, to drift into tomorrow while today slips through my fingers. My thoughts wander to what might happen, what could go wrong, or what I need to prepare for. Yet you are not merely the God of my future plans. You are the God of my present breath. You are here with me, not in the projections of what be, but in the certainty of what is. I want to train my soul to notice you where I am, not just where I am headed. Teach me to linger, even when the world demands that I rush. Teach me to notice, even when distraction pulls at every corner of my attention. Let me hear the birds and remember that they do not worry. Let me feel the warmth of the sun on my skin and remember that your light is steady. Let me taste my coffee slowly and know that every good gift comes from you. I do not want to speed past your presence. I want to meet you in it, God. My mind often leaps into the future, calculating possibilities and imagining outcomes. But this habit has not always brought peace, it has often stolen joy. And so I ask you to calm the inner storm of anxiety that whispers I am behind or unprepared. Remind me that I am exactly where I need to be because you are with me in this very breath. The pressure to be more, to do more, to achieve more, it all fades when I look at you and remember that I am loved before I perform. Help me resist the lie that stillness is laziness or that reflection is wasted time. Let me sit with you in silence, not to be productive, but to be present. Let me learn to breathe slowly, not just for my body, but for my soul. Let me slow down long enough to see the person in front of me, to hear what is unspoken, to notice what usually goes ignored. Let me live like you did, fully alive in each interaction, never too hurried to love. Lord, this moment holds beauty, but I confess how often I overlook it because I am waiting for something bigger. I am tempted to see the ordinary as insignificant, to chase after what I think will finally make me feel fulfilled. But you are here in the mundane. You are in the quiet steps, the unnoticed acts, the daily patterns that form a life. Help me honor the simple moments, because these are the ones that shape me most. Give me the discipline to put down my phone, to look away from the constant stream of updates and interruptions, and instead lift my eyes to what is real and near. Let me resist the pull of artificial urgency and reclaim the depth of unhurried connection. The more I chase what is distant, the more I miss what is in front of me. Teach me to stop, to look, to listen. Teach me to truly be here. Father, you designed time as a gift, not a burden. And yet, I have allowed it to become a taskmaster. Help me see today not as a checklist to complete, but as a canvas you are painting with my surrender. Let me take each hour not as something to conquer, but as a moment to discover, instead of racing to the next thing. Let me ask what you are showing me now, in this breath, in this silence, in this conversation. And when unexpected interruptions come, give me the grace to welcome them as divine appointments. When the plan changes, help me see your hand in the new direction. When people need more of me than I anticipated, remind me that love is rarely convenient. Let me see inconvenience as an invitation to practice presence. Let me become someone who is fully available because I am not living for a finish line. I am walking with you, God. Let my mind not rehearse past mistakes or replay old conversations. Free me from the grip of what I cannot change. If there is something to confess, I will bring it to you. If there is something to release, I will place it in your hands. But I refuse to let regret rob me of today's grace. I refuse to let shame keep me from the sacred joy of now. I will not wait until I am perfect to embrace the present. I will meet you here, in my imperfection, because you are already here waiting. Let me engage each task today with intention, whether it is mundane or meaningful, small or significant in the eyes of others. Help me do it with a whole heart. Let me fold laundry with love, answer emails with patience, speak kindly even when I am rushed, and see the person behind every responsibility. These things may seem small, but when done with you, they carry eternal weight. Let me also notice the quiet whispers of joy you tuck into the day. The soft breeze through the window, the sound of laughter from someone I love, the first sip of tea, the comfort of a familiar scent, all of it is a reminder that you are near. Let me collect these moments like sacred stones along the path. Let them become the testimony I carry when the road becomes heavy. And when the heaviness does come, help me not to escape into distraction. Let me sit with the hard emotions without needing to numb or fix them right away. Let me bring them to you in real time. Let me be honest about what I feel, without needing to perform strength I do not possess. You are not asking me to pretend. You are asking me to be present with you in all of it, the joy and the pain, the clarity and the confusion. Lord, I know that being present requires trust. It means believing that this moment is enough, that I am enough, because you are enough. It means letting go of control and choosing to abide. So help me abide. Help me return again and again to this breath, this step, this thought, this prayer. Help me ground myself not in outcomes, but in connection, not in accomplishments, but in communion. Let my relationships be marked by presence. Let me listen fully, speak thoughtfully, and respond with grace. Let me not rush through the people I love as if they are interruptions to my goals. Let me treasure them as the very purpose of this day. Whether it is a stranger in need of kindness or someone I have known for years, let me slow down long enough to truly see them. God, even in solitude, help me be present with myself. Let me not run from my own soul. Let me meet myself where I am with compassion, not criticism. Let me check in with what I am feeling, what I am needing, and what you are trying to teach me. Let me live aware, not detached. Let my internal life be as cared for as my external responsibilities. And above all, let me remember that you are not far. I do not have to search for you across distant landscapes or climb to spiritual heights to find you. You are right here, in this room, in this breath, in this moment. All I need to do is pay attention. All I need to do is return to now. Because now is where you meet me. Now is where you speak. Now is where you move. And if I keep showing up here, again and again, I will never miss you. Let this be the shape of my day, not hurried, not fragmented, not driven by scarcity, but anchored in presence, filled with stillness, guided by attention, formed by grace, moment by moment, breath by breath, step by step, heart in hand. Eyes lifted. I am here. I am listening. I am with you. Father, now that I have tasted the beauty of being anchored in the present, I feel you inviting me to go even deeper, not only to be here, but to trust you with what is not yet. As I open my hands to the unfolding of today, there is a part of me still wrestling with the tension of not knowing. And so I bring that wrestle to you now. I surrender the illusion of control and ask you to teach me what it means to trust your timing, not in theory, but in the raw honesty of my daily life. It is hard sometimes. Lord, you already know this. You see how often I want to rush the process, how often I try to write the ending before the middle has settled, how I fear the spaces that remain unfinished. But you, in your infinite patience, never panic. You do not run ahead, and you do not lag behind. You are always perfectly timed, not 1 second too early or too late. And though my mind resists this sometimes, my heart longs to rest in it. Help me release my grip on the outcomes I cannot shape. Let me stop trying to engineer a life that looks like control, but feels like anxiety. Let me set down my desire to force answers and make things move. I do not want to spend today anxiously pushing open doors that are not meant to open yet. I want to learn how to walk at your pace, to move only when you move, to pause when you pause, and to wait when you ask me to wait. Teach me that waiting is not wasted. Teach me that delay is not denial. Teach me that when you withhold something, it is never to harm me, but always to help me become ready. Sometimes the delay is in the details that must align, but other times it is in the refining of my soul. Let me trust that when you say not yet, it is just as holy as when you say now. Let me believe that the silence is not your absence. It is the preparation of something better than I imagined. Father, you know how much I struggle with the unknown. I often ask for clarity as if it will bring peace, when what I really need is confidence in you. Let me not worship certainty. Let me worship you. Let me not put my faith in perfect plans. Let me put my faith in your perfect love, even when I do not understand the sequence. Let me know that the one orchestrating it is good. Help me walk away from the temptation to compare my timeline to someone else's. Their story is not mine, and their pace is not my standard. When others move faster, succeed sooner, or arrive before me, remind me that I am not late, I am right on time for my life. I am on your schedule, not theirs, and your schedule is never rushed, never reactive, always intentional, always unfolding with a purpose beyond what I can see. Let me remember how the seasons change. Let me remember how winter turns to spring, not in a single moment, but through a gradual warming. Let me trust that you are thawing things in me, even when I cannot feel the shift. The roots grow in silence. The buds bloom quietly. The fruit arrives after a season of unseen growth. Let me not despise the waiting room. Let me honor it as holy ground. When I am tempted to make things happen in my own strength, pull me back gently. Whisper to me that I do not need to manipulate, maneuver, or manufacture anything. I only need to trust. Trust does not mean passivity, it means moving with faith, not fear. It means doing what I can while releasing what I cannot. It means listening for your voice and responding with obedience, even when I can see where the path leads. Lord, teach me how to hold my dreams lightly. Let me place them in your hands daily, not because I have given up on them, but because I want them to grow in the right soil. If they are meant to bloom, they will. If they are not, then you have something better. Let me not measure my worth by whether those dreams come true. Let me measure my worth by the fact that I am yours. Help me let go of the pressure to perform, the pressure to meet invisible deadlines, the pressure to always have it figured out. Let me live in the freedom of not knowing. Let me live in the grace of becoming. Let me rest in the assurance that you are not impatient with me. You are not disappointed in my pace. You are not measuring me by how quickly I progress. You are looking at my heart, and if my heart is leaning toward you, that is enough. When I start to panic, steady me. When I spiral into doubt, center me. When I feel stuck, remind me that movement is not always visible. Sometimes the greatest transformations happen deep within, in the quiet spaces where no one sees. Let me value those inner shifts. Let me celebrate the slow work of growth. Let me stop chasing milestones and start cherishing the moments between them. God, I know you are not in a hurry. You are not anxious about the unfolding of my story. You are not pacing the floor of heaven wondering if I will miss it. You are secure in what you have planned, and you are patient with my progress. You do not need me to be perfect. You need me to stay close. So I choose closeness over control. I choose intimacy over certainty. I choose surrender over striving. Let this day be marked by a quiet trust, a trust that does not demand answers, but delights in presence. Let me walk with unforced rhythms. Let me find joy in the unfolding, not just in the arrival. Let me notice the little ways you are preparing me for what is next, even as I remain fully present in what is now. And when the tension rises, when I feel caught between longing and letting go, remind me that this is where faith grows. Faith is not proven in the moments of clarity. It is refined in the fog, in the gray, in the in-between. Let me not run from those spaces. Let me step into them with open hands and a soft heart. Lord, I trust that you see the whole picture, even when I only see a few brushstrokes. I trust that you are working all things together, even the delays, even the detours, even the disappointments. I trust that you are never caught off guard, never scrambling for solutions. You are building something beautiful in the waiting, and I do not want to miss it by rushing ahead. Help me celebrate the small progress. Help me find peace in the partial answers. Help me learn how to carry questions without letting them harden my heart. Let me walk through uncertainty with grace, and let that grace overflow into how I treat others. We are all walking through something unknown. Let me be gentle. Let me be patient. Let me be kind. You are the God of right timing, and I want to live in alignment with that. I want to rise and rest according to the rhythm of your heartbeat. I want to be like the trees that bend with the wind, not break from it. I want to flow with your spirit like a river follows the curve of the land. Not resisting, not forcing, just moving with trust. Thank you for every closed door that protected me. Thank you for every slow season that taught me patience. Thank you for every pause that invited me deeper. I do not want to wish away the waiting anymore. I want to embrace it as a sacred part of the story, a chapter not of delay, but of divine shaping. So today, as I breathe in the quiet and step into the unknown, I choose to walk slowly. I choose to smile without knowing the full picture. I choose to trust the author of time itself. I release my timelines. I loosen my grip. I surrender my schedule. I trade my anxiety for peace. And I anchor myself in this truth. Your timing is not just good, it is perfect. Father, as my thoughts carry over from the quiet reflections of the night, I find myself returning to the core of what I need most this morning, your peace. Not the peace that the world tries to offer me with fleeting distractions or surface comforts, but the peace that comes only from you, the kind that reaches into the depths of my soul and holds me steady even when everything around me feels uncertain. Yesterday left some questions unanswered, and the worries of tomorrow try to whisper their doubts into the corners of my heart. But I want to come to you before I listen to any of that noise. I want to draw close to you, to lean into the comfort of knowing that you are unshakable when I feel like everything else is trembling beneath my feet. You see every possibility, every road ahead, every outcome I cannot predict. I know that nothing surprises you, and nothing is beyond your control. So why do I still allow fear to rise when plans fall apart or when the future looks foggy? Help me surrender my need to understand. And instead, let me rest in the security of being understood by you. I have spent too long rehearsing the worst-case scenarios in my mind. Today, I want to release all those what-ifs and hold on to the truth that you are already in the tomorrow I fear. The winds of change may blow hard, but they can move the foundation I have in you. Let that assurance settle like a stillness over my thoughts. I want to carry that stillness with me today, even when life feels like it is unraveling. You are the one weaving something greater beneath the surface. Even when I feel like I am falling, you are catching every piece and placing it exactly where it needs to be. Give me eyes to see that grace. Give me ears to hear the calm in your voice, even when the world shouts chaos. When my heart races and my breath shortens, remind me to return to stillness. Help me to inhale deeply not just air, but hope. Hope that rises not because of my circumstances, but because you are who you say you are. When I am tempted to reach for control, remind me that surrender is the safer place. You have never failed me, even when I could not see the outcome. Let today be another chapter of trust. Let your peace be the armor I wear before I step into anything else. Let it quiet the accusations in my mind, the demands on my time, the pressures I feel to have it all together. Because I do not have to hold it all when you are holding me. You never asked me to be perfect, only present. And here I am, showing up with my mess, my wonderings, my tired soul, and trusting you will meet me right here. Help me respond, not react. Help me pause before I panic. Help me listen before I speak, breathe before I rush, pray before I decide. Guide me to be a non-anxious presence in a world full of hurry and fear, not because I am stronger than the storm, but because I am anchored in you. If there are decisions ahead that carry weight, give me clarity without anxiety. Let me sense your whisper pointing the way instead of chasing after every voice that tries to pull me in 100 directions. Make your peace louder than my worry. Let it take root so deeply in me that even in situations I can fix, I will not be shaken. Thank you for the reminder that peace is not the absence of difficulty, but the presence of your nearness. So, walk with me. Let your presence be the comfort I reach for when my hands feel empty. Let it be the light I look for when the day feels dim. Let it be the song I hum quietly to myself when silence grows heavy, when unexpected news comes. Let me remember that you are not caught off guard. When people disappoint me or plans crumble, let me recall that my identity is not tied to things or outcomes. It is rooted in you alone. There is nothing more secure than that. May I find strength today not in my ability to manage, but in my willingness to release. Let peace reign not just around me, but within me. Not just in the still moments, but in the chaos. Not just in answered prayers, but in the waiting. And when the questions feel louder than the answers, let my soul still know that you are God. I am learning that peace is not something I chase. It is something I choose, and I choose you. In every small act of faith, in every decision to believe instead of fear, in every quiet moment where I turn my attention back to your presence, I am choosing the peace that passes understanding. Thank you for this morning. Thank you for the chance to start again. Let my life today reflect a heart that has been in the presence of peace. Let others feel it in my tone, my words, my silence, my pace. And when they ask how I stay grounded, let the answer be clear: it is you. Always you, Lord. Since peace has begun to settle like morning light over my soul, I feel a new space open within me, a quiet invitation to trust the rhythm of your timing. I have been so conditioned to rush, to push, to measure worth by speed and success. Yet now I sense you asking me to slow down, not just in body, but in spirit. To stop grasping and start resting in the truth that your pace is perfect even when mine is frantic. The world is always demanding more outcomes, more progress, more answers, but you whisper something gentler, something kinder. You ask me to let go of my obsession with when and lean into now. You ask me not to waste my energy trying to force what is not ready. There is no fruit in pulling on a bud before it blooms. There is only brokenness in rushing what you have designed to unfold in sacred time. Teach me, God, to honor the process. I confess that I often want instant results, quick healing, fast clarity, immediate success. But when I look back, I realize the most meaningful transformations in my life have never been instant. They were slow, deep, often hidden. You were working beneath the surface, shaping me quietly while I was impatiently scanning the horizon. So today, I surrender my timelines. I release the pressure to arrive at some self-imposed destination before you have called me there. I open my clenched hands and choose to trust that delays are not denials, and waiting does not mean forgotten. You are not a God who forgets. You are a God who prepares, and sometimes the waiting is where the preparing happens, in me, in others, in the world around me. If you are not rushing, why am I? If you are not anxious, why should I be? You are never late, never early, always intentional, even in the silence. You are speaking something valuable into my spirit, even in the stillness. You are moving things I cannot yet perceive. Give me eyes to see beyond what is visible. Let me be okay with not knowing every step ahead. Help me release the fear of missing out, the panic that says I must make things happen on my own. Let me live today with the awareness that I am already in the middle of your purpose. Even if the full picture has not formed yet, you are not measuring me by milestones, but by faithfulness. You are not impressed by business, but drawn to surrender. So I choose trust over hustle. I choose to walk, not run. I choose to move in step with you, not sprint ahead. Even when the doors seem slow to open, even when answers feel delayed, I choose to believe you are arranging things in ways I could never orchestrate. You are not merely trying to deliver a result. You are shaping my soul in the waiting. In this place of trust, remind me that every moment matters, even the in-between spaces, especially the in-between, because it is here I either learn to worry or learn to worship. Let worship rise. Let gratitude fill the empty spaces where anxiety once tried to live. Let me find joy not in the arrival, but in the awareness that you are with me in the becoming. Help me let go of comparing my pace to someone else's. Their season is not my season. Their path is not my path, and that is okay. What you are doing in them does not diminish what you are doing in me. Instead of looking sideways, help me look up. Instead of envying someone else's progress, help me honor my own process with grace. If I am being stretched, let me not resist. If I am being pruned, let me not run. Because I know you only prune what you love and only stretch what you plan to use. Every hidden season is holy when placed in your hands. Every slow step has value when you are the one leading. Remind me that patience is not passive. It is not weakness. It is a courageous choice to trust in a God who sees the full picture when I only see fragments. It is a bold act of faith to stay present, not pull away. It is a declaration that your promises are worth the wait, that your presence is enough for today, and that your timing will bring what I need when it is right. Even if today feels like a quiet one, let it be rich in trust. Let my soul be content not because everything is finished, but because I am walking with the one who finishes all things well. Let my heart rest not in resolution, but in relationship with you, who holds every unfolding day in loving hands. So this morning, I step into my life not racing toward the next thing, but walking in peace. I will breathe slowly, listen deeply, move gently. I will not rush to prove or perform. I will simply be anchored in your presence, grounded in your grace, and confident that whatever comes today, I am already being held in the safety of your timing. God, as I sit quietly in this last stretch of morning stillness, I can feel the gentle echo of all the moments we have walked through together in these prayers. Each whisper to you has shaped something deeper in me, not just in words, but in presence. It has never been about saying the right thing. It has always been about drawing nearer to you. And now, as this prayer continues its final breath of the morning, I sense the grace that has carried me from beginning to end still flowing, steady as a stream. There is a sacred peace that settles when I remember I do not have to carry today on my own. I have seen you show up in quiet ways, in days that felt ordinary but became holy just because I let you in. Sometimes I search for signs and wonders, but I am learning that real miracles are found in the small daily yes to trust, yes to surrender, yes to believing you are already at work even when I feel behind or unsure. I do not need to be strong for everything today. I do not need every answer. What I need is to be anchored in love that does not shift with the winds of life. Anchored in truth that does not break under pressure. Anchored in grace that flows without limit. And you, God, are all of that and more. You are not only the author of my days, but the gentle keeper of my heart. Help me live today with wonder. Let me not rush through it like a checklist. Let me notice the way light touches leaves, the way laughter softens a room, the way compassion shifts the atmosphere. Make my heart tender to the invisible gifts, the ones that do not shout but still speak. Help me cherish the present moment, not as something to survive, but as a sacred invitation to dwell fully, to love freely, to breathe deeply. Teach me how to bring faith into every step, not just in the big things, but in the small. How I speak, how I respond, how I choose peace when provoked, how I forgive when it costs something, how I stay kind when I could be cold. Let me carry you in the tone of my voice and the tilt of my soul. Let my faith not be just a belief, but a presence felt, seen, lived, even in uncertainty. Let joy be my undercurrent, even when the road bends. Let hope be my map, because you are the same no matter how the world spins. My circumstances may change, but you are steady. My emotions may sway, but you are faithful. I want to live today as one who knows I am already loved, already chosen, already walking in purpose, not because of anything I achieve, but because of who you are. I lay down the fear of doing everything right. I release the urge to be perfect. Instead, I choose presence over perfection. I choose grace over performance. I choose humility over hustle. I let go of what I cannot control and step into the assurance that you are already in every moment that waits ahead of me. Let my inner posture reflect peace. Let my thoughts dwell not in worry, but in wisdom. Let me return again and again to this sacred awareness that I do not walk alone. Even when no one sees the burdens I carry, you do. Even when no one understands the prayers I do not speak aloud, you do. That is enough for me to begin this day, not with pressure, but with quiet strength. And when I stumble, as I will remind me that grace meets me where I fall, that growth is still happening, even in the slow days, that you are not grading me on performance, but growing me through presence. I will not waste this day by measuring its worth through what I produce. I will trust its worth is already woven into its being, just like mine. Let me look at others with softer eyes. Let me pause long enough to listen, to hold space, to speak life. The world has enough noise. Let me be a calm voice, a healing presence. Let me plant kindness like seeds, never knowing where it may bloom. Let my life be less about impressing and more about impacting one gentle act at a time. God, I thank you for every soul who has journeyed through this prayer, for every heart that has leaned in, listening not just to words, but to the quiet stirring within their spirit. I pray that these moments of morning reflection have become more than a routine. May they be a rhythm of renewal, a doorway to deeper trust, a well that never runs dry. And though this prayer comes to its final breath, let its spirit continue through the hours that follow. Let it walk with us into kitchens and classrooms, boardrooms and bus stops, silent commutes and loud homes. Let it echo in our habits, our choices, our reactions, our silence. Let it not be something we leave behind, but something that leads us forward. Thank you for being patient with us in our becoming. Thank you for being close when we feel far from everything else. Thank you for being light when we are wary of shadow. You have not once looked away. You have not once forgotten the ones who whispered in faith. For those still waiting on breakthrough, let this be the beginning of courage. For those weary from the journey, let this be the spark of new strength. For those seeking direction, let this prayer become a compass pointing them back to your still voice. And now, as the day opens its arms, may we rise not just with movement, but with meaning. May we breathe not just air, but awareness. May we walk not just through tasks, but through grace. Carry us, shape us, speak through us. Let this final moment not be an ending, but a release into a day where trust replaces tension, where peace replaces panic, where your presence is not a concept, but a companion, and like the soft light of dawn spilling across the horizon, let hope rise again, slow and steady, warming the soul with promise. To everyone who stayed with me until this final breath of prayer, thank you. Thank you for making space in your morning, for opening your heart, for listening not just with ears, but with spirit. I hope something here reached you. I hope something stayed. If it stirred you, even gently, I invite you to leave your thoughts below. Share your heart. Share your own prayer. This space is not just mine, it is yours too. And if these words blessed you, I ask you to share this with someone who might need a quiet place to rest. Subscribe to this channel to continue walking this journey of daily faith. There will be more prayers. There will be more mornings. And with each one, may we continue choosing faith not because life is easy, but because God is near, like a breeze brushing across still waters, like a whisper through leaves at dawn, like sunlight slowly warming the edge of a cold window. May His peace go with you now, gently and always.